the biggest thing a lot of people ignore is their feelings. So people don't put a whole lot of muscle behind emotions and feelings. And that's the sad thing, because that's actually the biggest ruler of us as being here, is we're natural feeling beings. So with this lower negative energy, it's attracted to you because you are a natural light worker. You are sensitive. You're an empath. You're a healer. You work within the light. So when we do this kind of work, and believe me, I've come across quite a few mediums, fellow medium friends of mine, who are going through this very thing. The sad thing is it's because we work within the light that the darkness is starting to see that we're working hard. And so they feel threatened. They feel very threatened. So what they're doing is they're stepping forward to all the light workers, and they are definitely putting their 2 cents in. And they'll start to make us feel like we're not worthy, we're not enough, that we are a problem. And they really, really start to nag at the negative side of us. And the sad thing is being beings that we are, we tend to start to listen to it, and we start to get down in this funky spot. We start to get into this negative mode. We start to follow this negative thought. And it's where you have to come across someone else who can see that and says, hey, listen, let me shake you and wake you up. I don't think you notice this is going on, and it just takes a brother or sister, a fellow being, to kind of help us jostle awake again, and just realize, like, this isn't just us, it's the negative, right? Mm-hmm. You have to remember, too, there are a lot of people out in this community, and I'm sorry to say this, it breaks my heart, but there's a lot of animosity and jealousy in this community, and it kills me. It's like, if we could work together and help each other, that would be the goal. But see, this is where the darker energies, they see that. So they'll try to tear us down, and they will take things that, things that maybe we needed to work on 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and we put it to the side because we got busy with work. We got busy helping others and healing others. That we said, I got stuff to work on, but I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Well, 20 years down the road, you've got a backpack full of stuff that you got to work on. And now that the time has come, these energies are like, wow, this person has got like so much stuff on them. I can pick on them and make them crumble, and you become what they call a soft target, an easy target. So for you, I feel your heart is so big, it's so huge, that I feel that you've taken on almost like every worry in the world that has been echoed out there. You've picked that up. And it's really weighing heavy on your heart. And I sure wish that the people around you would surround you, Chris, with nothing but love and gentleness and kindness, and work towards a resolve, because that's the biggest thing that needs to happen here. And without that, like, it's not going to, it won't work. Things will just get worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
You know what? Honestly, I'm not you right now. You're so dead on with that. You're so true, because I hide my emotions, and you know what I've been doing lately? If anybody tries to read the cards on me, I'm blocking them. Seriously, I don't want my cards read. Not. And I just don't want to do that. It's not the time, because I don't know. It's just something about that right now that I feel. I mean, I know I can feel when I'm being read, and I just block it out. And even with the people who say, "Well, I can read you," well, not anymore. You're not, because I need to.
You got to put up that barrier.
I need to fix myself first. I need to fix myself up. So, yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is like you've got a lot of people around you who, I don't know who they are or what they do, but to psychically say what I pick up on this, and I don't know the situation, but I feel that there's a lot of miscommunication. There's miscommunication, and it leads to mistrust, and then it's stretching the truth to the point where it almost becomes fabrications or lies, little white lies mixed with truth, and it's like, I feel like a lot of these situations around you, it's not you, but it's trying to pull you in. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I was saying, I think it's best for you, Chris, to pull yourself back in a way, and to tell everybody, just, in a very gentle way, like, bugger off, and just let that chaos come in and do its job, which means getting rid of the things in front of you. The universe is going to create this chaos, Chris, because it's asking you to let go. Let go of what's going on. You are not responsible for whatever's happening. With that being said, when the universe is trying to remove these things away from you, the worst thing you can do is try to fight to hold on to it. Do you know what I mean? So I think the art of letting go is the most practical thing we can learn. It is the first thing we're being taught so hard right now, especially with this lockdown. What is that lockdown really doing to all of us in a physical, emotional, and spiritual way? It's teaching us the art of letting go. Right? So letting go doesn't necessarily mean it's the death of something. It means there's transformation. Like a tree losing its leaves. A tree can't always have the leaves. They turn and change color and they drop to the floor. And the tree allows this to happen because the tree knows in a short amount of time it's going to regenerate and grow some fresh, brand new leaves. And that's what needs to happen, right? You are an amazing soul. I mean, I can't say this enough. I'm very honored to sit here with you. And it makes my heart sad because the Chris I know and the Chris I'm sitting with today are two very different people. You seem to carry so much hurt and pain in your heart, and it makes me sad to see that. And I'd like to see you getting into a better space, So I personally think you've got to allow all this that's happening to kind of just push it to the side and walk away from it. And what you should be doing is focusing on you. And what are the things that you need to work on? Right? As a light worker, it's hard.
Yeah, somebody messaged me that earlier too. Yeah, somebody messaged me that earlier too. That's validation.
Well, when we're light workers, it's hard for us to step back and say, I'm not going to help, because that's within our nature, to be the helper. So, I guess the universe is giving us a very hard proverbial thinking and saying, no, time to smarten up. Let's start working on self, right? Because that's what needs to happen. I think you have to give yourself permission to kind of tell everybody to get lost and just to work on you. Because, how good are you going to be if you get real sick to the point where you can't work anymore? Right? That's not going to be good.
What
do you think?
There's your validation, Junior. That's your validation right there.
Yep.
Because he talked to me earlier, and he was telling me through message, and it was just so weird because, he read me, and then someone else read me. Somebody else had to talk to me, a family member, and said I need to work on myself. I'm my worst own enemy right now. And you're dead on with that. You hit it right on the money. Even though there's some things that
I'm not aware of the situation. I don't know what's going on,
but you hit it right you hit it right on the money. And I'm not bullshitting.
Well, you know what it is? My guide is communicating with your soul guides. Your soul guides are expressing this because they've been trying to tell you this, but you're ignoring it. And it's not because you're not getting it. It's because you're like, I can work on me later. You're trying to be selfless here and you're trying to work for others. And your guides are like, hello, Chris, do we need to shake you anymore? Come on, this is time for self-care and self-love, right? So, I can't express it enough. When I sit with so many, I say, the biggest thing I tell everybody is you have to understand that we are here for one huge thing. And that one huge thing is learning about unconditional love. And it starts with you. It starts with self. That is the biggest thing we're here for. So when you look at every level of love in every situation in your life, you'll notice through pain, through sorrow, through sadness, through happy, through joy, through excitement, they're all different levels of love, and we learn from them. Right? And some of us, including me, takes maybe 7, 8, 12 times before I get it. But it's the art and the beauty of going through that experience that is what teaches us, I've been told by so many that, they feel at times like, how come this person doesn't get it? I'm trying to help and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, maybe the whole teaching is not about you helping someone else. It's about learning to love yourself and them enough to step back. You know, that's one of many ways that you can look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. So, you know, I won't garble on much longer.
Okay, so if anybody has questions, you can reach us at 929-436-2866 with a prompt 522-657-2748 on the House Walker Files on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. You know what, guys? She just read me. Okay, she just read me. I'm gonna chill like now. She was dead fucking on with that shit. That is so mind blowing. And the thing is, you don't even know what the hell's going on. And yeah, you hit it right on the money. Now, for that being said, Katie, would you like to get a reading? Or Daryl, or anybody want to talk? Anybody want a reading? Because she just blew my mind already.
Well, because you allowed me to come into your space, right?
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna just, since he already shook his head, no, maybe you should do Junior. See what you pick up off him. He's a co-host, my friend.
Well, hello, Junior. Is he online or is he on the phone?
He's on the phone. He's on video, but you can't.
Oh, he's on video. Hello, Junior. Well, I can't see him now. Okay.
I don't know if you have to talk. You could say hi, Junior. Maybe she can hear your voice. Oh, did you hear him? He just said hi.
Hi, Junior.
Okay, go ahead.
Was there something you wanted to ask particular, or you just want me to do like a general? Just pull and see what comes in.
Yeah, you can talk whatever comes in.
Okay, right away, I got to talk about, so I don't do medical reads, but for you, I feel like I got to talk about your forearm, something up with your forearm. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I broke it in high school.
Okay, because I feel like there's something about the forearm, and I don't know why they're bringing this attention to it. Did you have a friend with an A name? I feel like his name is Alex or Alan.
That would be my little brother's name's Alex.
Okay. There's a male that wants to come in and just validate that they're around you. They've been walking the earth with you. I feel like they left quite some time ago, and they're still looking after you.
What do you say? My uncle passed away 2 years ago, and his name was Alex.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. This is just him stepping forward, letting you know that I'm around, and I just want to send you so much love. And I feel like he's talking about you doing some changes or damage again to your arm. I don't know why, but he's really wanting to shake you and say, hey, listen, pay attention to this.
Yeah, he does that a
so
lot.
He keeps showing me fishing and spending time with you. Has he ever in the past been able to go fishing with you?
Before he got sick with cancer, we planned on going.
Okay, because he's like, I'm doing that with you now. So when you get the opportunity the next time to go fishing, know that he will be with you in spirit at that time. And he's like, and yes, I'll have a beer with you.
Yeah, that sounds like my uncle.
Now, how did you connect with like the bench in the front of the house? Because he's showing me like a bench, like, I don't know if this is the front of the house or behind it, but even if it's in the back of the house, it's like where everybody congregates. You know, some people sit on the front porch. He's making me feel like this is his area, his spot. He likes to go and sit at. And then he's talking about repairing a car that's been sitting there for a long time. So somebody has like a broke down vehicle or car. Does that make sense?
That'd be me too.
Okay, because he's like, let's get on this. Let's get it started. You know, you wanted a hobby. Well, now's the time. You wanted to, learn about this. This is the time now.
I wish I could now with this thing going on.
He's like, listen, if you've got to duct tape and do what you got to do, you can do it.
Yeah, that sounds like Alex.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I feel really good about this, Junior, with you. The energy around you, too. I actually almost have to mimic a similar read I just gave to Chris. I got to give the same to you almost. It's almost like you guys collectively need to learn how to let go of the bullshit, if you get what I'm saying, around you, and just let it go. Because he's like, you know what, the more you hang on to this crap, you're going to make it worse.
It's not funny. Let it go.
Yeah, he's like, let it go. He's like, because all this bullshit around you, you're attracting more and more and more. He goes, what is this, a soap opera? Let go of it.
What I do best.
You know what? That's why. You know why? You know what's funny, Jordan, is that because all three of us were like friends and stuff. So it must be like a soap opera that you're picking up first. You got me. You were dead on with me. You know what? I didn't think that you were going to pick that off of Junior because I don't know what's going on with him because we haven't hung out since this bullshit. So that is so weird because he probably is going through stuff. He's not one to talk about it, but yeah, you must have hit it right on the money with him, and it's so weird.
So I want to talk about now, like I've never met you guys aside from Chris. Like I know Chris, but I've never met you guys before in person or on the phone or anything. Am I right? Right. I've never met or known you guys from anywhere before. So this is our first time tonight meeting. And so what I've got to do is I got to bring forward conversation about an old dilapidated house because they're talking about, it looks like a shit shack is what he's saying. And he's like, go in and start doing some of the work. And he keeps making me feel like when you do this, you're going to start stirring up spirit. Now, do you guys like do spirit investigations?
Sometimes.
Okay, because I feel like you were at some place that was dilapidated, like it was a shit shack. And he's laughing because he's like, I went along on the ride with you. And there's actually several spirits on the other side. There's a woman there that when she does this, it's almost like you guys blindfold her so she can really open up her senses. Does that make sense? Because they're making me feel like she goes in blind, but she does that to heighten her sense.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like blindfolded, like you blindfolded.
Yeah.
Somebody.
It's almost like they're blindfolding because he's like, they're going in and they're thankfully, you're not using your human eyes, you're using your psychic eye. And they're like, this is what's enhancing your abilities more.
Wow.
And I smell a lot of weed. I'm sorry to say that. He keeps talking about smelling the weed. And he's like, have a beer and smelling the weed.
Guilty as charged.
This is too funny.
He's talking about people witnessing or seeing orbs that are like blue spots in the corner of the ceiling. Do you guys witness that a lot?
Christina does.
Know that those are angels actually coming in to say, hey, we're checking in. They don't really go anywhere, but they let themselves be known every now and then. And they're like, sometimes you see a red dot, sometimes you see a blue dot, sometimes you see a white dot. He goes, those are orbs. He goes, that's our energy. And we're just coming in. We're just checking in. So we're validating that you're not going blind. You're not losing your sight. You're not going nuts. This is them coming in. You'll see spots or orbs.
I always see that.
Cool. Now, what if you see the shadow on the dark side of the wall?
That's just a gentleman who's in spirit, and he's trying to hide himself from you. Okay. But he's not doing a good job because you guys can see him. He's just trying to do that to not scare anyone. He belongs to a property. He used to farm on that property.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Wow. And you already hit 2 people already. Oh my God. I could just imagine what you pick up on Christina or even Katie. Oh my God. I'm even scared to even ask. Oh my God.
I got a little bit for Christina and I got a tiny bit for Katie, but I feel like you and Junior were more of like the show stealer,
I don't steal nobody's thunder. It's Chris.
Oh, whatever, Junior. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't steal no one's thunder. What are you talking about?
Well, I think you and Junior are going to be the ones that get the most.
You could steal all the thunder you want. I'll be lightning.
Oh
so for Christina, they're showing me her sitting in a well opened up space. I don't know if it's like a sunroom. And I'm going back in childhood and I feel like I'm playing dolls or Barbies in this like playroom or sunroom because there's a lot of light that comes in, natural light. And talking about playing with the Barbies when I was a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
The reason I bring this up is because they're saying that there was a gentleman that would come in and out of the house in spirit, and every now and then she would kind of feel a shift. And sometimes she'd be in the middle of playing, and all of a sudden she'd be like, you know what, I'm done playing. I'm not going to play no more right now. And then she'd leave the room. So they're like, she would sense us, when we'd come in. So we tried not to come in too much when she was around.
Yeah.
And that's for that Christina girl.
Yeah, she's over here. She's over here like, holy shit.
She's right on the money with everybody.
So how do we connect with foster parents or people who parented you but weren't your natural parents?
That would be Christina's dad.
Okay, because they're like, she went through a lot of traumas, just small traumas, and they're like, what a beautiful soul she's turned out. She didn't allow that to affect her, not in the way that it could have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hear country music in the background. So does this belong to a soul that crossed over that used to be into country music?
Her uncle passed away a couple years ago. He actually was a singer.
Okay, so let her know that this is him stepping forward and acknowledging this. And I also feel like I want to talk about a child's soul on the other side. Now, I'm not sure if she herself has lost a child, but there's a child's soul on the other side. And they're saying, let them know that we have this child. And this child is waiting to come back into the earth, into the world. They're going to be born like a starseed child, like a crystal child, a child that will come in with abilities.
Okay. Well, we lost our daughter about a year ago around this time.
Okay. Know that soul is safely on the other side and with loved ones. And this soul is going to try to come back to earth again. Because they said, I came in for a short minute for a small teaching. So I gave the teaching and I'm now waiting to come back. Now, normally souls don't usually generate that quick. In a lifetime, they wait until everyone's back on the other side before they're born again. But for her, I feel like she's waiting to have that opportunity to come back in. She's like, I'm just waiting for everything to line up right so I can come in. Did you have like a double pregnancy, like you and one other person were pregnant back to back? Because they're making me feel like there's a double pregnancy that happened.
It was her and her best friend.
Perfect.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Wow. You're picking up everything. Wow.
Well, I try.
Well, you know what, you're doing a very good job.
There's actually a caller from area code 203.
Okay, 203, caller. Welcome, caller.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
I can hear Chris is getting happy. I love it.
You know what? I'm going to say it like this. I know who that is. Do you want a reading from her? Or do you just want to say who you are? Or do I just tell her?
Well, I think she knows already who I am.
She should.
Yes, I know who it is. Hi, my love.
Hi.
How you doing with your abilities?
I'm getting there. Getting there perfectly.
Perfect. I'm glad to hear.
Oh my God, she's freaking me out. She freaked the crap out of me.
I know who this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just talked to her too when we were doing that messenger. So yeah, that gives it a hint. We were on messenger earlier.
Yeah, because whenever she comes in, like I get the rainbow children with her real fast and quick.
Yep.
So when are you going to do a read for me? That's the question.
I know, right?
Right?
I haven't come out my turtle shell yet, but I will.
I hope so. This is the timing,
You know what,
I see you growing over the next several years and really doing wonderful things. I really, really do.
I told her that, but she don't listen.
I know, but you know what? Everybody's going to take their time, what they're comfortable with, what they're ready with. I just don't want to see you get slowed down and stay stuck. That's the only thing. And I think Chris agrees with me. You don't want to get comfortable in one spot and stay there. You want to keep going, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. So what is it that you pick up for her, Joey? Because we both.
Well, there's a father energy on the other side. There's a father energy on the other side. Now, I'm not sure if this is her father, but there is a father energy coming in.
I know who it is.
And I feel like he's like actually picking you up and cradling you, like walking with you step by step and just cradling you, trying to make your path gentle. Because I feel like there's been a bit of a, I don't want to say stumbling, but like you were walking a nice, smooth garden grass path, and then all of a sudden there's a couple bits of rocks and pieces here and there that you're stepping on. And he's like, let me just help you walk over that part, and then I'll put you down and you can keep on walking. Get what I'm saying?
Yes.
because that's what he's doing. He's like, I know things are trying. I know things are just feeling like, oh, I feel like I'm working 10 times harder than I should be. But this is where he's stepping in, and he's like, I'm helping you with this, so don't worry.
Wow.
Oh, yes, I feel him strongly.
You know what?
Perfect.
I'm gonna tell you something, Jody. Do you remember when you were doing the show yesterday? Was it you and that other friend of yours when y'all kept picking up a lake yesterday? There's a friend of mine that's missing since November, but we'll talk about that later. But I'm not kidding you. When you were reading people last night, some of the messages were referring to me. Like the river, that was one of them, and then what was the other one?
The creek bed and the bodies on the ground.
Yes.
Ribbons and hair.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. That's why when you
we can definitely do that.
But yeah, well, we can talk more about that. But yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the things I always ask is when I'm working on a case like that, I always ask them if they can just give me a photo of the person. Doesn't have to be anything, like even if they were 35 when they went missing, but you gave me a photo of them when they were like 6. You know, that still works. It's just trying to read the energy, and sometimes when we look at the photo, it helps us connect a little bit better, but it's not always needed.
Wow. Well, she picked up a lot of stuff from me, right? Right, Stacey, she picked up a lot of stuff from when we were listening to her last night.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, that's the fun part about Spirit is they know, like, okay, there's going to be people listening today, so we're all going to jump in and we're going to give the messages, and it might seem like it fits 6 people instead of just 1, but it's important, so they'll do that. It's what I've heard people refer to as piggybacking. So you'll have multiple different spirits giving the same message. So whenever people call in or are sitting with someone and they're in a large group, I always tell them I might be reading one person directly, but listen to the messages because they may refer to you as well, right? You'll know, you'll feel it. You'll feel like, oh my God, I feel like that relates to me. And if that's what you feel, I would take that message.
I just have one question for you. I did a meditation the other day, and in this meditation, I was in a circle, almost like a fire pit circle. I was in the circle, and I had a bunch of people dancing and moving around me. And then outside the circle, I saw faces. But in the circle, it felt safe and protected. And then all of a sudden, I felt like I was out of the circle, watching myself inside the circle. And I saw all these colors around me. And then all of a sudden, a beam of light coming down from above on me. And then I got dragged right back into the circle. And then when I got into the circle, I saw a person come out of the circle all in white, dancing. Then went back in the circle, saw the next person coming out all in like a tan color, and then went back in the circle. Do you know what the meaning of that is?
Well, there's actually several meanings behind that. The one is you being pulled back into the circle even when you stepped out and you're watching yourself. You know, people think that we have one soul and it's only one piece. What I tend to explain to people is we have one soul, but our soul can fracture into many different pieces. We can explore and be at all these different places at once. So when you're going into meditation, sometimes we tend to pull away from our spiritual self it's almost like a bird's view. You get that bird's view feeling, right? Almost like a pulling. And it's spirit that's saying, no, stay focused. We need you to be present. Come back into the circle and continue doing this. Stay focused. That's kind of what was happening. It's almost like you're falling asleep and they're pulling you back in to wake you up, right? Okay. That's one interpretation I would put it as. The other is you've got many helpers and they've been working with you since before your birth. So when you went into that circle, it's almost like you're reconnecting with souls that I wouldn't say you necessarily knew, but you knew. Like your soul recognized them. That's why you're all in that circle together. Now the colors coming in, regardless of what the colors are, they're presenting themselves and asking to look at that color and what it stands for. So when I look at the color brown for me, and there's different shades of brown. When I look at brown, brown usually means to me unresolved issues, a lot of trauma that you're dragging behind you. And it also refers in the medical community like you're sick. There's a sickness that you carry with you, right? And that sickness can be in any form. So when you look at the color brown, you said it was a color tan. This might be a light color brown. So you'd have to look into what does that mean for me? Because what I see it as might be different than what you see it as, right?
Yeah.
But I would look into what the colors represent for you. Also look at the aura colors. Now, I don't remember seeing any browns in aura, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means I haven't seen it yet. But that might be something in itself too. The weird thing is I see a lady around you that's got very curly blonde hair. And I mean, she's got to be 45 to 55 years of age. She's a little plump. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I know her.
Okay. I feel like she's going to be somebody that might bring in some insight or teachings for you. So I would definitely sit with her. Now, whether she's in spirit or in the physical, I would sit with her for a little bit. Ask her questions, you know, kind of be open and receptive to whatever she's going to share. Come on. Come on. Now, my girl, you brought this rain to my house. I think you guys had it raining yesterday, even up in Boston, and now it's here. So I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
please no.
I still have the drizzling here, but yeah.
Oh,
right. Yeah, it's
I mean, I
raining
know
over
we
here
need
too.
it, but
Yeah, it's been raining over here too. Yeah, it's been raining over here too.
My bones hurt, and I'm like, no more rain, please. I know, I feel like a grandma. Well, I mean, I am a grandma, but even more so, right?
But you know what? But you know what? To be honest,
thank you so much.
You're welcome, my love. I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye, babe.
That was amazing. Okay. I know we don't even know how long we're going to be on, but we should take our first break. We'll be back on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network, guys, on the House Worker Files. We'll be right back. I don't know if Katie.
Because we can
guess we're back. So finally, that's just 2 songs. We still got 2 more to go on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network on the Housewalker Files, guys. So those were the 2 songs. And you know what I was going to say? That those songs that we play, we pick them. We pick them, and then we go to break and whatever. So that's how we do the show. We take like 2 breaks, and then sometimes if we go like further, we gotta pick other songs. And sometimes we've had the guest pick songs, but I didn't know what you like to play, and I didn't know what you like. So I said, you know what, I'm feeling like freestyle tonight. So I said, you know what?
Yep.
I'm doing freestyle, so that's what I did. So I'm feeling
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I miss it. Like watching you from before, you always played music, and I'm like, I love this. So feel free, go for it. Right?
And for Faith, if she's still on hold, I don't know if Katie can bring her on. There's a caller on queue, or Christina, whoever's
area code 210.
The 917 number.
917.
I just unlocked the area code 210.
Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I was trying to see if I could get a reading. No, this is Alice.
Alice, nice to meet you. Okay, Alice. So there's a female on the other side for you. This, I feel, is like a great aunt or an auntie. Does that make sense to you?
Okay.
She says there's a long line of women in your family, very strong bloodline, females, who carry a lot of ancient wisdom. I'm also being told to tell you to pay attention to synchronicities happening around you. Has that been happening to you recently?
Yes.
Okay, there's divine reasons why all these synchronicities are happening. They're not just, oh, this just happened to happen. No, sweetheart. There is divine reason why you're seeing all of this, and it's synchronicity. I've got to talk to you also about, there's these little moments that they're showing me that are popping up in memory. And they're like, this is a time for you to embrace these moments with gratitude. Because the more you embrace it, the more you're bringing about gratitude. And the more gratitude you bring, the more wonderful things you bring to you. So it's almost like a cycle of, oh, I love that I got this, like, to hear this favorite song of mine. And then once you start getting happy about that, the next song comes on and you're like, oh, I even love this song more. So they're like talking about manifesting these things, being in gratitude with this.
Okay.
How do you connect with the month of November?
Trying to think.
It's okay. Sometimes it comes to us right away. Sometimes it doesn't. But there's the month of November I've got to connect to. This also connects with the female energy. And she's like, I want you to remember to celebrate, embrace and celebrate things, even the small things, smallest little victories in life. Celebrate it.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if this is a passing death date or a birth date, but this is something that's to be celebrated. Even an anniversary. I'm not sure, but something in November.
Okay.
And then I keep seeing
right offhand. Go ahead.
That's okay. Sometimes these things have the aha moment that come later. So I also keep seeing championships and, the banner and I don't know if it's sport teams or what this is, but I'm getting championship. Does that make sense to you?
No, other than if it's the Spurs.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure what this is, but it's like championship and just like really celebrating some championship milestone. Out, go. My dog just decides she wants to come in and join in on the fun here. So Alice, there's so I can see you becoming a grandmother. It's almost like there's 3 granddaughters that are coming into play here. They're not going too far in future, but I see you becoming a grandmother. I've got to talk about the oldest sibling or the oldest child. I don't know if for me, I grew up with 9 siblings and we all took turns like parenting each other. Do you know what I mean? And so one of my siblings just recently passed away about 2 years ago. And it's one of 3 that have passed. And with this sibling in particular, to me, I was more mother-like to this sibling than I was a sister or brother to them. So they're making me feel like this is the same situation for you. It's almost like you are a parent to a sibling. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Because they're like, you know what? It's with this role, there was an importance to it. So when they came into this lifetime, it's almost like an agreed contract. And they're like, I don't know why. It just makes me feel like you're doing a wonderful job. I know there are times where you feel like, oh God, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. You know, wipe my hands clean and free of it, you know?
Yes.
But they're like, it's not as easy as you think.
Okay.
And they're just so proud of you for that. There's a lot of women for you on the other side, just letting you know.
Wow. Yes, okay.
So I don't know if you come from a large family or especially with a lot of females, but there's a lot of females on the other side, and they're all giving you support.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
So there's like a natural wisdom that they've been passing down from generation to generation, and it falls on your shoulders. So you yourself, I feel you're a very wise old soul. I also feel like you're going to be a teacher and a healer, not just to your family, but to those surrounding you. Are you somebody who's also very much in tune with nature or working with nature?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of grassroots, a lot of going back to nature, learning about medicine and herbs and teas and natural remedies. And this is going to be something that comes to you quite easily.
Okay.
Okay. Was there anything you wanted to ask in particular?
No, I'm good. I'm good with that.
Okay, wonderful.
Sure?
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, wait.
Are you sure?
Can I ask
Are you
you
sure?
one? I'm sorry. Yes, I know. I do have that one lingering question.
Go ahead.
Sure.
I have a daughter, and she's adopted, and we had her sister with us for a short period of time. And my question is that sister of hers ever going to return to our home again?
I feel like that will come at a later date. I think things are still up in the air because there's still decisions that have to be made. I feel like there's also like some kind of tug of war happening here. Yeah. So it's almost like two people are squabbling or fighting over something with paperwork. So they're like, give it some time, because I do feel like this soul, there will come an opportunity for you in less than 2 years about signing contracts or paperwork and possibly bringing her back. Was there a health concern with drugs, or because I feel like there's a health concern about drugs?
Home. Yeah, she was
Pardon?
brought to our home because of that. She was taken away from her parents because they abused drugs, sold drugs, and whatnot.
Do the children also have like some addiction to drugs, or were born with it?
Some of her siblings did. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I feel like there's a struggle, and people are going to label them ADHD and all this fun stuff. Understand, and I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to be giving medical advice, but on a spiritual level, I talk about spirit children being born into this lifetime, and the way they come in is a purpose. So her and her siblings being born into a family where there's been addictions and stuff like that. Doctors like to put medication and label this child and keep them on the meds for life. Whereas I'm somebody where I'm more like, we're not going to take the meds off the table, but let's first look into other areas. You know what I mean? Like, I want to look at diet, looking at stuff like sugars and mayonnaise, and working with them, because they're going to actually be healers, believe it or not. Yeah. So the children who come in with these struggles, it's not a real struggle. It's only struggles to humans, but in the spiritual aspect, they're coming in with lots of teachings. But I am going to tell you, like, the one that you do have now, she will become a mom at an early age. I don't yet see or understand all that I'm being shown, but I'm being shown like she'll become a mom at an early age, and that's okay, because it's through this you will continue to parent or teach as life goes on. This is going to be beautiful. Do you know what I mean? So I know it's worrisome when you think about this future-wise, but I promise you it's all going to come out to a really beautiful ending. Like, it's going to come out beautifully. So this is why they're talking about you've had like a natural mother instinct since childhood. Like, you mother others. Right. So they're like, this is why you do what you do and you're best at it, because you are a light worker when you do this work. So keep up the good work, and know that within 2 years' time, I see 4 years in total of court systems, but 2 years is where an opportunity will come up to you, or like 2 years or less. Opportunity is going to come up. You'll be signing contracts, something to do with bringing her back. So I do feel like that is a good possibility.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
Sound
thank
good?
you so much. Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Alrighty. Okay.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we do have another caller, 917 here.
We got two more.
After shit.
We got one more after the 917.
Okay, 917, is that the...
I'm the 917. Hi.
Okay, so hi.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Loida. I'm Faith's friend.
Your Faith friend. Okay. Faith McNamis?
Yes.
Okay, because I seen her on my Facebook today going, "Yay, Joe!" And I was like, right on. I was like trying to get everybody, share this, share it, get it out there. Okay. Sorry, what was your name again?
Loida.
Leda. Did I say that right? Leda?
It's Loida.
Loida. Okay.
Yes.
I want to talk about a tragic passing. Does that make sense to you? Because I keep going into the intersection where there's vehicles. Does that make sense to you?
Right now, no.
Okay. The reason I bring this up, I'm going to tell you what they're showing me. They're showing me, so I'm standing at the corner. It's almost like I'm watching this happen. And I'm at a major intersection and there's cars and I see police coming involved and trying to talk someone down and they get hurt. Now, I don't know if they get hurt because they've been tasered or if they've been shot or they got hit by a car. I don't know yet. I just feel like there's a gentleman. And so not long after, I don't know if he's taken into custody because I see him being put in the back of a truck, but I don't know if it's because they're taking him to the hospital or to jail. I don't know. But he passes from this. And I feel like this is like a mental condition. Like this person suffered from mental afflictions. And so it's kind of like this was the day they went off their meds and everything went crazy. Now, I don't know why this is coming up for you. And I'm not saying it's yours, but it's coming around you. So I've got to bring this up. This might make sense to someone very close to you, like a sister, a brother, a cousin, a boyfriend. Do you know what I mean? But there's a message here that they want to give to you so you could be a messenger. Because they're making me feel like we've got to talk about this and let them know that this gentleman is fine. He's crossed over just fine. He made it. And I got to talk about the month of August. How do you connect with the month of August?
My brother's birthday is in the month of August.
Okay. And is he currently going through addictions?
No.
Okay. Because there's somebody so as soon as I mention the month of August, I feel like I got to talk about somebody going through addictions and mental health.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned addiction and mental health because I'm babysitting a cat from someone who suffered from PTSD from the Army, and I have his cat with me right now.
Okay. You know what?
I
wonder if there's something coming up for him. You know, when I talk about being at the intersection and having a breakdown, because this is the day where like shit hits the fan, I lose my shit. You know, like my final straw has been broken. You know what I mean? Because that's what I see happening. Now, this might be something that's coming soon to a head because I feel like it's going to happen in the summertime.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I you know, the only thing I can say at this point is we're going to pray for the soul. Understand that there are contracts that we agree to before we're born, and the contracts we agree to, why we have them, is to agree to come here to learn and to teach. Now, I've had people call me and say, well, why would somebody want to be murdered or, you know, kidnapped and murdered or dying a slow death? And I'm like, I understand. Trust me, I get it. I'm not God. I can't answer that for you. But what I can tell you from what I've worked with is that these were done in a way for higher teachings, higher purpose. So when we've finished and completed all the things that we came here to do and we were meant to do, we leave generally within 2 to 3 months of our birthday. So if you looked at all your loved ones that have passed and crossed over, you'll notice a good chunk of them have all died within 3 months of their birthday. 4 months if they were scared or waiting for someone, but it's generally 3 months. If it's outside of that, it's because they took an early exit. Things weren't lining up. So they had to go back home, you know?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
So who's the D name around you?
D name?
Yeah, D, like Desiree, or I don't know. There's a letter D. Is it Daniel? There's a D name. There's just a letter D, and they want me to bring it up in conversation.
Well, I know somebody named Daniel. It's funny that you said that.
Because I got to talk about, I'm coming up at a crossroads in my life, and I'm struggling, and all I see him doing is drinking.
Okay.
I think what needs to happen, somebody named Daniel or Danny, I would really like to rally family and friends to come around that soul and give him support. because there are some things happening in his life right now that he's struggling with. And it's like sources telling me like, we can help this soul. We just need to get everybody to kind of rally around him and show him like, we love you. We're here to support you. And that in itself is going to help him.
Okay.
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 And I think that's it. Was there something you wanted to ask me?
Actually, something about what do you see for me in my future life? And if,
I feel like there's a relationship that needs to be talked about. It's almost like there has to be a shift or a change coming in regards to your relationship. Know that the universe is making a clear path for you. So there's going to be some struggling coming in for you in terms of relationships, trying to keep relationships. Now, I don't know if this could be just romantic or if this could also be with people around you, but they're letting me know to tell you, like, if you feel like you have to struggle and pull so hard, let go of the tug of war rope, because there are going to be new beings coming around you. I feel very positive about this. And they want to talk about you. Okay. So they're making me feel like you're fear gathering. You're gathering fear. Like there's so much fear just coming and going. It's like waves, you know? And they're like, please let her know to let go of that fear. Just have perfect trust and laugh at the situations coming at you. Laugh at it. Because they're like, the more you hang on to this fear, the more you're going to build it. You're going to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And I feel like there's a female on the other side that comes to visit you when you sleep. She touches your feet. Do you ever notice like you get really cold feet at night?
Sometimes I do, yes.
Because she's sitting by your feet and she's like, I'm trying not to get you cold, but like, you know, because her energy's kind of low. And she's like, I come in just to see that you're okay. She keeps talking about, like, she used to cough a lot towards the end of her life. And she's talking about going to the doctors a lot towards the end of her life. So she's like, let her know that I'm okay. I'm in perfect health. And I just come to sit by her.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I know who she is.
She loves you. She absolutely loves you. Yeah,
You're
I
a very
think
special
that's
person
it.
for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, caller, for calling in.
You okay, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good. What's the next caller, Junior?
The next caller will be area code 541.
541?
Hello? Hello. Who is this?
This is Tiffany.
Hello,
How are you
Tiffany.
guys?
How are you? We're good. How are you, Chris?
Doing fine.
You're fine?
Everybody's doing good?
I'm doing a lot better. My spirit's back up where it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's good, because I know earlier you weren't feeling so good.
I know.
So I was just wondering how Chris was doing.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna be good. My spirits are up where they're supposed to be, and I'm gonna keep them up there. So thank you for asking.
Well, that's good.
So what is it?
Yeah, I was just wondering how you're doing.
What is it that you wanted to ask our friend, my friend Joey? Because she's the psychic tonight. So is there any questions that you want to ask her? Or you just called in just to see how? Or did you?
I called in to ask how you're doing, and I also was just curious, like, just a general reading, what's going on with me. I've been kind of feeling like weird lately.
Well, first and foremost, they're on the other side. They're giving you shit.
Are they? Because I've just been feeling really weird.
Well, they're giving you shit. They said you're taking too much on, and you're so busy policing everything around you that it's starting to weigh you down. They're like, you got to quit policing everything. They want you to go and have a spa day. Create a spa day for the day. And I keep feeling like, have you just recently rearranged a room or redecorating a room?
Actually, I have. Like, I've been kind of like reorganizing stuff. Just the other night, actually.
Because they were sitting with you, and they're like, my God, her thinking, she just won't stop. It's like a constant train of think. And they're like, take a break. Because it's like, oh, man, this is overwhelming.
Yeah.
So there is a father figure on the other side that comes in, and he's saying, you know how proud I am of you? I am so proud of you. And he's talking about you being the rescuer. You tend to rescue a lot. Does this make sense to you? Like, you rescue people, you rescue animals, you rescue situations. Like, you're in there, like, in, like, sin, you know? As soon as something's in, you're in there.
To help a lot of people. I have before,
and they're like, and she's sitting here going, well, now I need the help. Where the F is everybody?
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, let her know, you know what, the best peace you can have is self-peace. So he wants you to make a spa day for yourself. Shut the phones, shut the door, shut the people off, and just get into a Zen mode. He's like, you know what? When she gets to cleaning, she really gets to cleaning. And he goes, and when she cleans, this is her meditative spot. You know, and he goes, it's most people would think like, oh, you can't be meditating, you're cleaning. And he's like, no, that's like a form of meditation, you know?
I didn't realize that, but I do think a lot.
Yeah, and he's like, you know, the more she goes around the house, she's going to start rearranging everything, you know, everything. He's like, and that's okay. Do what you feel that you need to do. I want to sit you down, though, and get you to relax for a minute because they're making me feel like you're on the go, 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 go. And he's like, I want her to sit down, to sit still for a minute and put on some very calming, happy music. And he wants you to put pen to paper. So I don't know if he's asking you to start journaling, to start writing, or to start drawing, because he's like, this is in itself going to help you to kind of zero in on what it is that you need to. Oh, so he's just like, give her a list. So he just showed me you making a list. So are you somebody who makes lists all the time?
No, but I probably should. Not usually. I kind of do it spontaneously, do stuff.
Spontaneous. Okay, I think this is what he wants you to do. He wants you to stop and just start to schedule yourself. Start like putting a list of things, okay, from A to B. Okay. Oh boy. So I don't know how I can do this. There's a meditation thing that I did that took 20 days, and every day you had to do one step for meditation. This is something I'm going to give to Chris, by the way, when we're done. But maybe when I give to Chris, he can maybe forward it to you as well. If you're willing to, you can also jump on my page at Joni White Buffalo, and I'll post the meditation. It's a group that I was in. A really good friend of mine gave it to me, and I'm like, girl, are you crazy? I'm the last person who's going to sit still for this. But I actually sat still, and every day for like 20 minutes, that's all I did. And I sat still, and I started doing the little bits of homework. And this really, really helped. And I couldn't believe how far it threw me forward towards working and healing and doing the stuff that I got to get done that I never realized like I had to do, you know?
So it will help with my overthinking, because one of my biggest issues I have is I think a lot. Like, I think about like deep things, and just, I don't know, sometimes I even feel like I hear other people's thoughts at times.
But that's what I was saying in the very beginning of our read is I'm like, he's just saying like, you just think. You just won't stop. It's like exhausting because they're like, we're listening to your thoughts. And it's like, it just doesn't stop. I think this is why they're giving you crap too, because you're policing too much, and he wants you to step back and relax. Pay attention to how your driving force is, what you're driven, and why. Because the biggest thing is you're going to burn out. I keep feeling like there's a burnout already on the horizon for you. And if you don't relax, you will burn out. He goes, this is a time where you need to kind of center yourself. He goes, listen, God and the universe are creating this space for all of mankind to take that time out. So you no longer have to be like, well, I got responsibilities and bills and all this stuff. He goes, no, the world has been put on hold so that you can sit still and start refocusing yourself, right? Now, when you come to somebody who is an overthinker, and trust me, I overthink a lot, we need to learn how to manage our thinking and channel it better. So I think if you were to be able to sit still for more than 10 minutes, and I know I can't do that, but I try, it's finding things to do that can help you kind of manage your overthinking. Because when you overthink, you're opening yourself up to psychic attack. I don't want to scare you.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Oh, yes, honey, because overthinking, what that is spirits jumping in, and they're really, like, they're chattering in your mind.
Oh, wow.
I call it space junk.
Dang.
Do you have any pets at home?
Actually, we do. We have a cat, orange kitty. His name's Whiskers.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you ever sat down and ever looked at your cat in the eyes and try to understand what is he thinking right now?
No, but he does meow at me a lot at times. Sometimes I'll come in the room and he'll stare at me and he'll go meow, meow, and he'll do it like several times, like he's trying to talk to me or something.
Yeah. Well, this is why they're bringing this up, because he's like, you've got to stop and relax and center yourself enough. And you know what? Your cat is going to be the one that can help you. If you feel like you can't do anything else, at least try this meditative practice. Sit down with your kitty when they start to meow and look at them in the eyes and try to, it's almost like you're trying to read their mind. Try to see what it is you think that they're trying to tell you, because they're talking to you, right? And that's one of the best ways that you can focus your mind and start. These are abilities that we all can do. It's just a lot of us tend to get so busy with life, we don't focus on it. And he's like, this is the time now to start doing that. Right?
Okay.
Because you don't know what to do with yourself because you're so used to doing for everybody else that right now it's like, okay, everybody's gone. Now what do I do? And so you're left with like nothing. And you're like, come on, give me something. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
Is this your father that's on the other side?
Well, I did have a father-like figure. He passed away in 2011. His name was Steve. He was like a dad to me since I was a kid.
Okay.
Is that who's talking to you?
Yeah. Well, he makes me feel father figure. He's stepping forward and he's like, listen, I need to tell her to stop overthinking. It's stressing me just trying to talk to her, and you can't get a word in edgewise. I mean, she can talk in real life. You can never sit and talk to her and not get interrupted or get a word in. He goes, but you should see her thoughts. My God, it's even worse. So it's kind of like it's giving you shit on the other side. Like, oh my God, woman. What? So he really would like for you to just kind of zen down. Oh, you know what? He just told me to give you homework. Ha ha. So not only are you going to do to give you homework, he's like, get her to sit and watch a movie. Watch her like 10 minutes in. She'll get up and start trying to find something else to do. He's like, even if it's playing in the background, he goes, get her to sit down and watch a movie. So what he would like to share with you is watch the movie Monsters, Inc. and What Dreams May Come. Robin Williams is in that movie. It's called What Dreams May Come. He goes, get her to sit still with that. He goes, even if it's playing in the background and you're cleaning or you're doing something, he goes, play it in the background and just listen.
Okay. I'll have to do that.
It's going to give you some insight to the spiritual aspect of life.
Okay.
Are you taking notes, Chris?
You know what? I'm going to tell you like this. I'll tell you when you're done with that. When you're done with the caller, I got something to tell you. Go ahead. I'm taking notes.
Okay.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Well, we all learn from each other, right? So I actually had a friend tell me this a few years ago, and I was like, really? And I watched the movie, and I was like, mind blown. Yep.
Yeah, the mind blowing is tonight. Tonight is mind blowing, and you know what? I love it because it's a Friday, and I just love the energy. Yeah, it's very static.
And the music you played,
the energy.
Yep, the music you were playing just songs, like total hit.
But we're waiting for. Yeah, and
all right. Well, thank you guys.
Well, you're so welcome, Tiffany. You take care, dear. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
You too, my love. Bye.
All right.
Jody, I was going to ask you, Jody, we have like 3 callers on queue, but okay, I'm going to tell you like this. We usually go from 7:45 to 9, but tonight we can go extra longer, but we take care of our guests. So I just want you to know if you need a cup of water, you can do that. We can take our last 2 songs. If you want to, are you okay? Because we can go until like 9:30 or 10. I don't know how long if you need to re-energize.
Well, last night I was on air and it was supposed to be a 2-hour show and it went 3.5 hours. Right? I've never felt more used like a town bike. Like everybody took a ride. That's a bad analogy. Never mind.
I know.
No, I'm good.
So,
I'm good to go with whatever you guys are comfortable with. Yeah, for sure. Okay, anything for you, Chris. Anything.
Okay, so what's the next caller, Junior?
Eric 210-420.
Can you hear us?
There you go, caller.
Thank you, Junior.
Caller 210.
Hello. Hello, 210.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Martha.
Martha?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a male that comes in with you as well that's on the other side. Do you understand this? I feel like there's an anniversary coming up of the passing of this male.
Yeah.
You need to take care of your health, honey. You're letting yourself slip away. He is so worried about you. When was the last time you had anything joyful happen for you?
been some time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very
He
emotional.
has not left your side. He has not left your side. He is still with you, and he loves you so much. He brings a female in with him, and he's like, let her know we love her so much. He hears you. They hear you talking. Even though you're talking in your mind, they hear you. And they keep giving me a lot of blue, the color blue. Does that make sense to you?
No.
Okay, this might be a favorite color, or this might be chakra color. So when we look at the chakra color blue, it usually indicates your throat chakra, which is also your truth chakra. Now, if you had a hard time being truthful with other people, telling how it is, how you feel and what you think about things.
I'm sorry.
I feel like what I feel like is like you're keeping quiet about a lot of things where you should be voicing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I see a dog. Do you have a living dog with you?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think that dog has really been trying and working hard to brighten your heart. Oh, you're such a beautiful soul. You know that, Martha? Have we sat together before?
No, I don't think so.
No, the caller. I've talked to her before, and I've read her too, but I guess it's what you're picking up on, that she's got a lot of problems, Jody. She's got a lot of problems, and you're picking up on it.
Yeah, I can feel the tremendous sadness.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the passing of a loved one has really hit hard with her. Don't mind me, I'm sitting quiet for a moment because I'm really trying to absorb like what they're showing me, okay?
Okay.
Oh, my granddaughter. I feel like at this time, Martha, if I was there, I would give you the world's biggest hug. I would honestly hug you and cradle you, because this gentleman makes me feel like he is trying his best to comfort you. Do you understand who this male is? Is this your husband?
No.
Okay, there's a male that's coming in, and he's trying very hard to brighten your spirits, lift up your heart. Do you understand who this is?
Well, I've had 2 sons that have passed.
Okay, because I felt like he was too young to be your father. That's why I felt maybe partner, husband. Okay.
No.
All right. Did you lose them both, like, within a span of a year?
No.
Because you know what makes me sad is, okay, the energy that I'm feeling is like you've got one loss after another after another. It's like loss after loss after loss. I feel like there's been a lot of like, because I'm asking, I'm like, where's all this sadness coming from? And they're making me feel like it's like you haven't had a break yet. There's just been one thing after another.
Well, I lost one son, and then about 11 years later, I lost another.
I just never got over it.
No. I just miss them so much.
They're sending you a rainbow. Have you been noticing rainbows the last year or so? Because they want you to see the rainbow. I'm not kidding when I tell you I'm seeing rainbows.
What do the rainbows mean?
I don't know. Because I'm hearing that song, that guy that sings Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then I'm seeing rainbows. And they're sending that to you.
And I see rainbows. I study clouds a lot. Like I study and I look for guardian angel clouds. And
okay, because he's showing me the rainbow, and what I'm starting to get right now is he's like, you know what, Mom? Even on the darkest days when it's gloomy, and it's been gloomy for 3 days in a row, and there's been no sunshine, and it's been raining, and then out of the blue, there's a break in the clouds, and you see the sun coming in for just a moment, and then you see that arc, that rainbow. So he's like, I want you to understand that even in the gloomiest of days, you can always find that little bit of sunshine, that rainbow. And he's making me feel like he sent you birds recently, because I'm seeing doves,
And he's like, I'm trying to let her know that we're at peace. So the one son makes me feel like he waited. He sat around and waited.
I don't know. I don't know. I lost one when he was almost 2 years old, and I lost one at the age of 15. So I don't know.
Well, one of them makes me feel like I can't breathe. I'm having a hard time catching my breath or breathing. And this is the one that's telling me, like, he waited.
I'm sorry that you're feeling like that.
Oh, no, don't be sorry, sweetheart. This is how I work. That's okay.
Okay.
And I'm looking at stuffed teddy bears. And then I'm hearing like, I'm hearing like, I don't know, do you have like Build-A-Bear teddy bears?
I'm looking at his teddy bear right now.
Okay, because what he's saying is he's like, Mama, it's like you have my heart in the bear. Or he's giving you the heart to put in the bear. So he's like, you're putting a lot of love into that bear.
I've had that bear ever since he was alive, and he was the one that passed away 13 days before his second birthday. And it's been since 1981.
Well, just know that even as young as some of the children we have, that we lose to the other side. And I don't even like to say the word lose. I prefer to use the word transitioned. When we have children that have transitioned onto the other side, no matter how long that we got to care for them on this side, know that there was a divine teaching behind that. He came in and fulfilled his purpose. And that being said, if you look to their birth date and their death date, if they pass within 3 months of their birthday, know that it's because their life became full circle. You know, I lost a little sister. Well, again, I said the word lost. My little sister had passed away, and she was 4 years old. And she passed outside of that 3 month mark. And I said to my mom, I was like, Mom, I dreamt about her dying 2-3 days before she died. And she died exactly like I dreamed. And I was just a kid. I was 14. So losing my sister, having her transition at that young age really affected us all. And so I sat with Spirit a lot of years going, you know, if she was meant to go and she lived her life the way she did, how come she didn't pass within 3 months? How come it was 6 months later? Because her birthday was July and she died in December. And so what I started to learn over the years working this work that I do, I realized that there are times where souls come in and they're meant to teach and do things. And sometimes things just don't line up for their purpose. And so they leave early. And with my sister, I think she left early. But with your son, I felt he came in, even though it was a short time, and he came in to serve his purpose. What that purpose is
he was born April 29th and passed away 13 days before his second birthday. So it's almost coming. And the other one passed away.
And you know that 13 is a very, you know that 13
December.
Well, you know that 13 is a very powerful number. When we look at numerology, in the native traditions, we have 13 ancestors that we work with. When you look at numerology and angel numbers, 13 is a powerful number. And you would take the 1 and then 3 you added, it's a 4. 4 is an angelic number. You know, so I would look at your youngest son, who was just almost 3. I would look at him as an angel that came in and to sit with you for some time, you know? And your other son, you said his birthday and passing date, when was his birthday?
His birthday is December the 9th, and he passed away September.
There we go. So he also came in and lived his contract to the fullest, and he left. And you know, the sad thing is we are left here on this side wondering, what was the purpose? Why did that have to happen? And that's something that we have to sit with and work on. And it's tough. I mean, it is absolutely tough. I've had children myself, and I've lost children, and I've sat here wondering, how does this work? You know, because it feels to us on this side not fair. Am I right? You just feel like it's not fair. But I've sat here and I've realized, like, my last child that I had lost, I had only found out later on that my sister was pregnant, not long behind me, and she ended up giving birth to a son. And I was almost 6 months pregnant when I lost my son. So I realized, like, you know, I think my son couldn't be born in my family, but instead was born into my sister's family. So he still was in the soul family, right? And there's a purpose behind that. I don't yet understand it, but I've come to learn to accept it.
Right.
So just know that your son's soul...
His last breath when I held him tight and told him it was okay for him to go to heaven.
Did you recently go to his grave? Because he's also saying, he's like, let her know I was there.
No, I haven't. I have them cremated in my bedroom.
Okay, because he's talking about somebody making an anniversary. Okay, he's talking about somebody going and celebrating an anniversary of his passing or something to this effect. And he's like, let them know that I was a part of that. And this was just recent, so I want to talk about this. I don't know what, maybe you were talking with him and you lit a candle for him, something about this. And he's like, let her know I was with her at that time.
I talk to him all the time.
Wonderful.
I let him know that I love him so much and that I miss him so much, but that I know that he's been called to be somebody's guardian angel.
Your guardian angel?
No, stab my fucking chips.
Is he mine?
Well, every time you hug that bear, he's like, Mom, I can feel the love. I can feel the love. This is why he gave me that symbol for, you know, when you do Build-A-Bear and you got to make your own teddy bear, and they give you a little heart that you can put inside of the teddy bear. So if you yourself don't have an actual Build-A-Bear bear, then this is his reference saying, Mom, you've put the heart into that bear, and I can feel it. You know what I mean?
His bear is turned around looking at me right now. Well, it is, and it's always facing forward the other way.
Well, just know that when you're with that bear, that is your son, that when you talk to him and you hug him, that's his way of giving you acknowledgement. Okay?
Yeah, because I'm looking at both their ashes and, you know, where I have them. And that teddy bear's just looking straight at me.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That little bear won't fall apart, even though he's so old. Whenever I wash him up, he never falls apart.
Nope, and he'd be with you right to the end. So know that your children acknowledge and recognize you in your day-to-day life, and they're with you always. And to bring up that conversation about the teddy bears, just to validate for you, like they are a part of your life. They see you all the time. They hear you. They feel you. Okay?
Thank you for telling me that.
You're welcome, my love. You're so welcome. God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you too, and thank you for the hug.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm giving you hugs and kisses, my dear.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Martha.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. You know,
You're welcome.
You know what? That just
all right. Thank you so much.
That's amazing.
You're making me feel better.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you. It makes me
we
feel
love
better
you too.
We love you.
Right.
You lots of love.
God bless you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't even know how many callers do we have on the queue, Junior. We can take maybe one more, two more. Okay, we can take one more caller, and then we're gonna go to break. So the next caller.
Yes, and we'll dance.
So what was the next caller?
203 area code.
203. Bring them on in, Junior.
Hello, caller.
203.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, Joni.
Hi, sweetheart. What's your name?
My name's Amanda.
Amanda, nice to meet you. Wow, you've got double spirits with you today. Can you feel it, Chris? Can you feel her double energy? I feel like she walks with two spirits, like consistently.
Yeah, she's very energetic, and she's a good person. She makes me laugh. She's funny.
She almost makes me feel like she walks with two spirits in one body. Does that make sense? Because I feel like you got two souls in one body, Amanda.
That's probably why I'm always conflicted.
Are you a Gemini?
No, I'm a Pisces. So
Pisces. Oh, so you're very psychic. You're very psychic. Oh my goodness. Well, I feel double energy with you. I feel double souls, double the pleasure, double the fun, double the trouble. I feel it all into one.
Yeah, that's me. My sisters will tell you the same. Stacy would tell you.
I feel like this year has been your lucky year. Does that make sense? You know why? Because they're giving me the Las Vegas and rolling the dice. And like, whoop, whoop, we won at the crap table. This is what I feel with you.
Well, that's how I've been trying to live my year, too. But, yeah, I mean, I guess I was kind of lucky this year. It's been a better year than past, you know?
Well, they're saying even at the smallest victories, like, just celebrate it. Just celebrate the crap out of it, even the small little things, because like the more you put into that, the more you're going to bring it. But I feel like you're like on this lucky streak this year. It's like things just start to work out for you. You're like, man, I don't know if this is going to work out. And it's like, boom, it worked out. And you're like, wow, that's so cool. It actually worked out. And it's like, this is going to be your year. Happy birthday, by the way.
No, thank you. Thank you.
So I keep looking at a gentleman that's in a picture frame. Who is this to you?
I'm not sure.
Okay. The reason I'm bringing this up is
here.
Well, I don't know if this is just like a symbolic thing or if it's a physical thing, but I'm looking at a man in the picture. There's actually two gentlemen that I'm seeing, but they're separate, right? And one of them talks about having an affinity for riding bicycles, motorcycles, fast stuff, just loving life. And then I don't know if he smokes, because I feel like I see smoke around him.
I'm not sure, but me personally, I've always been drawn to bikes and riding them and stuff like that, and I've always hung out with bikers and things like that.
Yeah, this almost feels like a biker energy, just because I see a lot of an affinity for like motorcycles and stuff like this. Was there recently a song that was played on the radio or something in where you caught it and you're like, oh my God, there's something about a song being played, and they're like, that was us trying to give you like, hey, how you doing? We're going to make your day happy today. Listen to the music. We're going to play it for you.
Yeah, there's actually one song that actually caught my attention yesterday when I was out with my kids. I take them Pokemon hunting. You know, you play that game on your app. And
I play Harry Potter Wizarding. Are you kidding me? I love it.
So we do that, you know, together, because that's something we bonded together, and I enjoy it because they enjoy it as well. And I was actually out yesterday, and a song did catch my attention. It was "Over the Rainbow," and
no way.
And that played, and that was the only song that like caught my attention, and I was like, oh, you know. And then, like I said, we were playing the game, and I clicked on one, and it happened to be Shiny, which is a rare Pokemon. So
okay, and there, so you had a luck.
Sense. Yeah. That it made
and
sense.
I was just talking about the previous caller hearing that song playing Over the Rainbow. That's pretty neat.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, definitely. Okay. So, I mean, it did catch my attention yesterday.
I feel like there's business ventures coming your way. This is something more like at-home work or working from home. Does that make sense to you? Because it's almost like you're trying to run or do a personal business, or this is something that's going to fall into your lap, and the potential of doing it is going to be great.
I actually am looking to leave my job that I'm at now, because the way the job is going, it really is, I feel very negative about the job, and it really, you know, it really hits me deep. So it's like one of those things that I need to walk away from, even though I enjoy what I do, but it's kind of like, you know, when you got infliction.
Well, that's the thing is when we work at certain jobs, and I was just talking to somebody last night about this on air, and I was telling them, you know, sometimes we're put into jobs and there are jobs that we need, and then there's jobs that we want, right? So, you know, it sucks when you find the job that you no longer need, but now you get to work the job you want to work, and you've been there for a minute, and then you realize, oh my God, this is like such a toxic, crappy spot. Like I need to leave. You know, and it just, you have that conflict of like, well, I really love my job, but I hate what's happening. So what's happening instead is the universe has lined you up for what you really want to do, but they're like, this is just a stepping stone, honey. You know, bigger things are coming, get your experience, get your feet wet, and then be ready to go when the time comes. So if now you're starting to feel like uncomfortable, I talk about, there's a rabbi on YouTube, and he talks about the lobster shell. Have you ever watched it?
No.
Okay. So when we're done here, it's only a 2-minute video. Go on YouTube and look for the lobster story with a rabbi. And it's a 2-minute video. And he talks about how we as humans, we tend to, we run away from growing out of our shell. So what happens is the lobster goes under and discards its shell and then comes out and it's in a new shell and it's bigger and it grows into it. And then when that grows out of that, he again discards the shell so he can grow a new one, right? Well, with society, we don't run out of our shell. We stay in that shell, even though it's confining. And instead of trying to do the right thing, we run to doctors and get prescription pills and medications. And, you know, we stay put. And it's like, no, you need to move forward, right? So go look it up. Look up the lobster, the rabbi. He'll explain it way better than I do because I'm the worst when it comes to repeating stories or telling jokes. I kill it. I kill it dead. Right? So don't take my word exactly, but it's along those lines. And I would suggest that you watch it because it's going to be something very telling in there for you that you're going to really connect to and be like, you know what? That makes sense. So if the universe is making you uncomfortable, it's telling you it's time for you to have a growth. And you can't grow when you're in the same size shoe. You got to get out and get a bigger shoe, you know?
Right.
Get yourself out. Because I feel like, yeah, and I feel like there's going to be opportunities for working at home or doing your own business or self-promoting. Because I feel like this is going to be turning more towards yourself. So if you work I feel like this would be something like people person kind of job where you're working with others really, really well. There's some people that work behind a desk. And then there's people who work with people. And I think like you're going to do really, really well working with people.
Right. And that's what I enjoy doing. I mean, even though I like animals better, I always say, but I always like helping people at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
And you know what they just told me? They said, she's got an attitude bigger than Texas. So for small people, you got that syndrome where they say small people with big attitudes, right? And they're throwing this at you saying, that's her. That's her.
Yeah.
So you got a larger than life personality. That's perfect. So yeah, I think the biggest thing here was just to continue following your intuition, your gut feeling. If you feel like you need to move forward and get going, follow it. Don't second guess it.
Go for it. Right, and that's my other thing. I like to second guess. I don't know why, but like I said, I'm always
we all do.
So
well, that's what comes with being human is we're fallible, right? We can make mistakes, but they're saying the more spiritual you get, the less of an excuse you can use that, right? So start following your intuition and keep on going. Keep on trucking.
Well, I actually also wanted to ask you a question. So my sister Stacy pretty much nudged me to call, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But she wanted me to call because recently we've been having a little bit of activity in my house. And it tends around my son, and it's coming from this off the kitchen type room. We call it the cold room because it's naturally a colder room. It's like a pantry. And I have around like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, the door started shaking violently, like somebody was trying to get in or get out.
Oh, I can tell you right now. Yeah, you got someone there.
But then the thing is that one of the strange things is that from time to time, I'll get growling, like I'll be dozing off, and then I'll get like a growl in my face, or I'll hear a growl in my room, and then I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, and I'll get up and I'll look, and, you know, I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm not worried. It's not, you know, I don't let it bother me. I don't let it scare me. I don't let it put fear into me. But I kind of feel like it's, you know, it's picking on my older son because I feel like he acknowledges it more. So it's like, hey, because you're acknowledging me, I'm going to do it when you're around. But the night that it happened, the last time that it happened, I was in my room and I heard 2 growls, and I was on my phone playing on Facebook. I heard 2 growls, so I muted my phone and I muted the TV. I thought maybe it was my husband snoring or my imagination or whatever the case may be. So, but then I hear my kids talking like, "Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that?" And I kind of feel like the growl was a warning to me to get up to go see what was going on. And then that's when my son told me the door started doing it again, and then we saw a bunch of orbs flying around the kitchen as well. Like we've seen them before. Like
and you're gonna see them. And you're definitely gonna get photo or video of it as well, because I feel like there's gonna be evidence collected. So, however that happens, I know like this will happen organically. Like it's not something you're gonna have to sit there and call them in. They'll just happen organically for you. You definitely have a twofold situation going on. So there is a soul that is kind of like meandered its way into your home. And then you've got this negative energy who followed that soul saying, well, I know the soul's going somewhere. Where's it going? And then when it realized like it came through a portal, that negative energy came in and goes, oh, bonus. Now we got an open doorway here. So they're going to definitely fuck with you. I feel like the pantry door is the one that's going to be tapped on a lot. And I feel like if you were to leave that door open and wedge it open, it's still going to slam shut. And if it doesn't physically slam shut, it's almost like you hear it happening, but it doesn't actually happen. Make sense?
Right. And that's what I hear too. Like I'll hear like the bathroom door open or a door open. I'm like, okay, well, where'd this come from? And then I would go and look.
But were you just about to fall asleep when you're seeing or hearing these things?
Yeah, usually it's like with me, it's always around. So it's like 4 o'clock when my son, but it's only when I go to sleep it happens. It seems like.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you. That's what I wanted to ask you. people are like, well, why would you ask something like that? And I'm like, there's a purpose why I asked that. So you are somebody who, stop me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you have recently in the last 1, maybe 2 years, opening up more and more and more with psychic intuition, psychic ability. Am I right?
Well, yes, I've always had it, but I kind of do it undercover. Like, I don't make it known, but I do it. Like, I'll listen, I'll feel, I'll feel my kids when they're at school. I've done a lot of meditation with there was this Himalayan monk that would come to my college and teach us how to meditate. So I would do a lot with that.
Lovely.
Meditations.
Wow, you are lucky. That's beautiful. Well, the reason I'm saying this is because you yourself have become a walking portal, right? So what's going to happen with that is when you become the vessel, you become this walking portal, and spirit is naturally drawn and attracted to you. So understand that when spirit's on the other side, oftentimes when they haven't transitioned over, they'll instead be in what I call the dark waiting room. It's like this big dark waiting room. And as soon as a light shows up, what do you do when you're in a dark place? You run to the light. Well, my dear, you've become like a light that started off with a small candle flame, and now you're growing. So when I sit with somebody and they're telling me they're having experiences in their house, the first thing I ask them was this happening at bedtime, or when you were just falling asleep, or did it just wake you up? That usually is the first stepping stones of when people are opening up their psychic intuition. It's because your conscious mind is going to sleep and subconscious is open. So therefore, there's no longer a barrier, right? Where we, say, oh, that there's a reason that happened and there's a reason that happened. Well, that part of your brain is shut off. So you're more open to spirit world. So once you start acknowledging, you're absolutely right. When you do acknowledge it, it's like, oh, giddy up, let's go. She sees and hears us. Let's do this. So they'll start doing little things like this. What you will need to do is go through your home and cleanse your home. You'll have to start learning how to do more meditation. When you do meditation, do grounding work. And it's almost going to become something where you have to do it like habitually. Like when you go through your house every day and you do dishes, you vacuum, you mop the floors, and you do laundry, you also every day, as you're doing those things, you're going to cleanse your home. And you're going to have to start doing this religiously. So when you talk to the energy that's in the pantry, you're going to have to tell them to fuck off. Okay? You got to physically kick them out and be like, this is my freaking house, man. Like, what do you do when you have a party? When the party's over, you're like, listen, you don't have to go home, but you can't be here. Get the frig out. And, open that door, throw them out, and slam the door.
Right. Because and that's the thing. I tell them, I'm like, look, I don't mind if you're here. You want to come in and do whatever, fine. As long as you're not disrespecting my kids, you're not disrespecting my home, myself, you're not doing anything that makes us feel uncomfortable or making us feel like you're unwanted. I don't have an issue because I know they all come and go. I can feel them coming and going when they want to. And I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But the ones that I feel like are more
taking advantage.
I'm like, okay, well, listen, you need to go. But it doesn't mean they leave, but I do tell them, I'm like, all right, you need to stop your shit and get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not
essentially. But here's the thing, when you allow certain spirits in, and I always tell people, I'm like, I think the biggest fear a lot of people have when I come to their homes to do a cleansing or a walkthrough, they're always like, well, can you just let the spirit know they're okay to stay? Because we really like enjoying, having that interaction with spirit. And I'm like, I know you're having fun. I know you're enjoying this. And this is so cool to experience it. But you have to understand that if you're allowing one in, it's basically like you're going to sleep, leaving your front door wide open. Anything will come in. So even though you may have some good ones that come in and visit, understand that even when they come, they can't stop anyone else that's coming in behind them. So you will have to lock everybody out. But when you do that, that doesn't keep them away. It just puts you got to think of it like this. Like when you go to bed at night, you're going to not just close your door, but you're going to lock it. And family members will have a key to come in and lock the door behind them. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you have a spirit on the other side that belong, they'll have the key to come in and lock the door behind them. Because your guides, they can't stop what's coming in if you're telling them, well, it's okay if you're here, but you can't be here. The guides are like, well, how do we know who they can and can't come in? So once you say everybody get out, everybody get lost, only people with the key can come in, then your guides will know that you mean serious business and they will keep everybody out. And then your family or loved ones on the other side will come in and say, okay, we've got a key. We're coming in to visit. Right?
Okay.
It's not always that easy, but it's the best way I can explain it. You know what I mean?
I could definitely do that because, it does make the kids feel uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, because why we fear spirit? It's not because it's all bad boogies. It's because we don't see or understand what it is that's there.
fear of the unknown, right? You got to be careful too, because with children, they're very inquisitive and they're already very close to spirit world. So, it's all of those little things can create a recipe of unwanted guests. Now, that doesn't mean you brought in bad guys. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is once you have one or two that kind of trickle in, the bad ones are watching. It's almost like, when someone's trying to rob your house, they watch your house. And as soon as they see an opportunity, they come right in. It's the same thing,
Right, and I definitely don't want that. Yeah, no, I definitely don't want that at all.
What do you think, Chris?
Well, I totally agree with you, bro. You hit it right on the money. And Amanda, remember when we were talking about that business, and then we were talking, and then the call just dropped? I'm telling you, every time I want to say I send a message to you, it just hung up, and I'm like, really? It even did that when I was on the live right after 5 minutes after that. I'm like, oh my God, it's just like spirit is wanting me to talk, but there's something else that's on the other side that's trying to block us because it doesn't.
Well, that's the thing. These lower energies, they can sense when you start working within the light and they see this. It's kind of like we're threatening them. The more we band together, the more that we do this good work, they start to feel threatened. So they'll start coming in and really trying to bully us, And that's what I tell people. I'm like, I don't know if I want to say I believe in demons or I don't believe in them. I won't answer that. But what I will say is I do believe that there are energies out there that are higher and lower. You know what I mean? So I try not to give that recognition because as soon as I start recognizing a demon, then that's just going to bring more. But as soon as I say, well, it's a lower negative energy, he's just an asshole of the group, we're kicking him out. That's how I treat it. That doesn't mean I don't have any respect or discernment between one or the other. It just means I'm not ready to give you my attention. No way. I won't do that.
Right. Right, and that's like how I feel too. Is that's why I don't give them the attention because it's like, look, you know what? I feel like once I do, then they're like, okay, you know what? Like you said, it's a free for all. And then that's funny because that Chris mentioned that because every time me and Chris do try to connect, we could talk about anything in the world, but the minute we start talking about something like that, or we're reading each other, and I'm feeling his energy, or he's feeling mine. It's like I told Chris the other day, I feel like we were meant to connect, and we're meant to help each other. But I feel like there's something that doesn't want that to happen either. You know what I mean? But because me and him are him, and I me, we're gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean?
exactly. Because
and that's where and that's where that bigger than attitude Texas comes in, and you need it, right? You got to be larger than life. You're absolutely right. Me and Chris were just talking about that tonight, before we started. We were like, it's always when you're trying to do the good work is when things come in and they like to stir the shit pot, Well, I don't let them do that. My phone, we're not doing video tonight because the last couple of days, every time I start doing spirit work, my phone screws up. I'm in my work room. I'm in my office. I'm telling you, Chris, if you look at my videos on my page, on my Facebook page, every time I did a live video and I start connecting with spirit, within 10 minutes, within half an hour, my video starts to get choppy and then altogether will drop. And I don't know how many times I've had to restart a show in the middle of a show, and I'm only 10 feet away from my router, and it's a brand new router. I'm paying for the highest, fastest speed, so there should be no reason to have service interruption. But every time I go in my office, even when I'm talking to my other psychic friends, they know I'm in my office because they hear there's static, there's disconnect, I can't work, and I'm like, damn it. So I have to tell spirit, listen, get these ducks in a row and get them out. I got to do stuff, I can't wait.
Right, and that's what we do. We just call back and we reconnect again, and we're like,
And I'm gonna
exactly
tell you, Joanne, and then I'm gonna tell you the only time that we had good connection, I'm not kidding. We had a party and you had 5 people on Messenger and we were dancing away. The connection was fine. The connection was fine.
That's right.
When we talked to spiritual stuff, it just hung up, and we're like, what? We're like, what the hell's going on? That is crazy. So,
it's energy. So as soon as you start to feel anything negative, that's why I tell people, go watch that movie Monsters, Inc. Watch it from a spiritual standpoint. You know how the monsters have to scare little children to get energy, right? But then they realize in the end that if they get the kids to laugh, you get even better energy, right? So on a spiritual level, these lower energies, they feast on us. But when we exchange that for happy energy, it's kind of like we blow them out of the water. So that's why I say put on some happy music. Even if you're not feeling it, put on the happy music. Start dancing. Get into a happy place. And you'll feel the shift of the energy in the house around you. You know, it'll shift completely. Even people who interact with you that day, they'll come in feeling all like, oh, I hate the world, blah. And they're with you 10 minutes and like, I don't know why, but you're like calm me down. You make me feel better. And I'm like, yeah, it's either because I'm very boring to listen to or my energy's in a good place and I've just taken that negative from you, right?
Right. Exactly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Well, you're so welcome.
Then
Thank
I was
you,
going to
Amanda.
tell you something, Amanda. If you're still going to be listening to it, wait till you hear it. We're about to go on break, so everybody, you're about to be dancing in a couple of minutes. So, but like I said, but thank you for calling in. You can still listen if you want. And
I definitely will.
Is there any other questions, Amanda?
No, that was it.
Oh, that's it, Amanda. Okay, then guys,
Don't forget,
we'll be
watch.
right back. We're gonna take this short.
Don't forget to watch that Rabbi and the Lobster.
Yes, I actually did write it down. I'm actually going to watch it after the show.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Welcome.
Go.
And we'll take this short break. We'll be right back on the House Walker Files on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. We'll be right back. God, that was great. Our back. The house fucker was on the global.
Everybody in the house right now was dancing.
I know everybody in the house was dancing. You could feel the vibration. Oh my God. And it's only on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network, people. We make it happen. We make it happen. Damn it. I'm pretty sure.
I love it.
You know what? I'm going to chill like this. I can see everybody dancing, and they were like, man, it's hot up here.
Well, that's what we needed. We need a little bit of that, right?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
You guys ever watch that TV show called Friends? You know, when Monica's wearing a fast suit and she starts dancing? That's pretty much what I look like as I'm going.
No, but I was going to ask you, I don't know how many more callers we'll take, but we can probably go another, because I don't want to take too much of your time. But it's
whatever you guys are comfortable with. I'm okay.
I know, but I don't know how many callers do we have on queue, Junior?
We got 3 now.
Oh my God! Are you first it was 2 and now it's 3. What's with 3?
First area code is 334.
Oh my God! Okay, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Jody? Are you okay over there?
Oh, I'm good to go. Are
you sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so we got caller. We got a caller. Oh my God.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Oh, wow. I like your radio voice. Do you do radio or anything like that?
I have, yes.
Okay. It would make total sense. Oh, man. Let me see. What do we get with you tonight? So, do you know who a Lawrence is?
Say the name again.
Lawrence.
No.
I don't know why I'm getting a name Lawrence with you. All right, we're going to sit down for a second because I just kind of got up and got busy.
Wow, why is there
Lawrence?
I mean, we're just going crazy tonight, man. I should have gotten 6 songs now. Damn, I didn't think we were going to go.
You do? You've got some 6 songs on there.
No, that was
okay.
That was only 4. That was 4.
So I don't know how you connect with this, but I feel like I got to talk about angels with you. Somebody who does angelic work or working with angels is very spiritual. There's a gentleman on the other side that talks about taking responsibility for their passing. Does that make sense to you?
Not right off the bat.
Okay. I'm just going to wait a few minutes because I feel like I got someone on the tip of my fingers here. All that I keep hearing is the name Lawrence over and over and over. Chris?
Yeah.
Are you having like a feedback? Because I'm getting a feedback.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of it going on right now.
There's a lot of energy, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there's like so much noise in the background. I'm gonna tell you what's so weird. I'm gonna tell you, we never had this before. There's like, as you're talking, it's like an echo in the background, and I'm telling you, that vibration went so high, now it's causing echoes.
I feel like I got a lot of feedback or echoing going on.
Yes. Junior, do you hear the echoing, or is it just us?
I've heard the echoing since the music stopped.
Are you still? Are you talking about the second break or the first one?
Second break. And it's only you guys psychics that are echoing, not me.
Okay. So you're not connecting with this gentleman who's taking responsibility for his passing, but he's making me feel like he wants to step forward and bring forward a lady. I'm getting daisies and tulips. Definitely getting daisies. I'm just trying to see if it's tulips that's with the daisies or not, because there's only 2 types of flowers that I'm seeing. How do you connect with angels and oracles?
Well, I have studied it quite a bit. I'm a parapsychologist.
Okay, I think this is what I'm trying to connect with, because it's almost like I'm getting all this like oracle stuff around you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you're a parapsychologist. Would you ever sit with me and just pick my brain? I've always wanted somebody to record my brain as I do reads. No, I'm so serious. I am so serious.
Yes, of course.
I would love that. Now, I'm guessing you're in the States, right?
Yes. Alabama.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I'm in Canada, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay.
That sucks. Do you know anybody here in my town, my country, that can come and pick my brain?
No, I don't, but I can find someone.
Yeah, because I want to go somewhere and have somebody study me while I'm doing reads for someone. Because I've always wanted to map it out.
Wow.
If we could even do that.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I can get that information to Chris for you.
That would be wonderful.
You know I'm kind of interested now, because that is kind of like a feeling. I know, I heard that. What was that about?
It sounded like somebody was driving. Yeah.
He sounded
you
like
know
what?
What's weird? Sorry?
He said it sounded like something in the background. I couldn't understand what he said.
Yeah, it sounded like somebody, like a car was passing by something.
Oh, okay.
Chris, I can tell he's talking, but I can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, me too. I can't tell what he's saying. I can hear him, though.
This is weird.
You know, I mean, with you, I don't know why, but I'm seeing castles. I'm seeing traveling overseas. It's almost like a journalistic point of view, almost like you're studying this. And I think because of what you do, this might be why it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird because you chose to be a parapsychologist, and even though you have a very skeptical view, I feel like you've had little psychic things happening around you.
Yes.
You know, I'm a very scientific person at heart, believe it or not. Even though I'm doing what I do, I question like 1,000 times. And it's like, I can't get away from it. I wish I could like bring science in and kind of give some backup to this.
Yes, well, in the paranormal field, that would be great. Yeah, but, you know, never
That's
shall the two entwine. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So there's a gentleman that comes around you. I think they're still living, and I want to talk about somebody who is transgender or two-spirited. When we talk about two-spirited, it means that they both walk with male and female energy. Do you know who this is?
No.
Oh my God! And they're living. It's not somebody in spirit.
How's my energy strong?
Huh.
Hold on.
Because you know what else I get around you? It's somebody who works with females who do oracle readings, angel tarot card readings. It's like you investigate the psychic side and you actually get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah,
but
well,
you yourself do.
No offense to you. I don't myself. No, I'm definitely not a psychic in any way, shape, or form. I have had psychic experiences, but I've always kind of, you know, buried that down.
Purpose.
But I am very skeptical on psychics.
I love that.
Not only do I investigate the paranormal, but I'm the modern day Houdini. You know, not the magic part, but the debunking part. You know, in his later years, he was a debunker for psychics, and that's what I do on the
I love that
as well. And the reason I do that is because I've seen the damage that
it does to a lot of people. You and I both, believe it or not.
Cause. Yes. So.
Yes, and I promise you, I actually am the same way, and you will not believe how many times I've had to sit with someone and tell them, like, I don't know who you sat with before, but they shouldn't have been doing things like this with you, or trying to convince you of other things. Like, this isn't about money making when you do this work. This work should not be something that you're profiting off someone else's hurt. You know what I mean? Because essentially what this is supposed to do is work with spirit and help others to heal. not take advantage of.
You're going to lose your seat at the psychic table if you keep talking like that.
Oh, I know. I have already got a lot of psychics who hate me because I do that. Like 90% of what I do is always like, I don't have a fee or anything like that. Like I do have a set fee, but I don't charge people crazy money. You don't know how many times I've sat with people and it's always like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let's have a coffee together instead, or let's exchange ideas and thoughts. And because that's what this is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be about someone saying, well, I'll only sit with you if you give me $500 and, you know, you've got demons on you. So the only way you'll get rid of it is if you pay me to do it. I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% opposed to psychics charging because, I mean, they've got to eat. Just because you're psychic doesn't mean you're immortal. So, I mean, you have to live. So I'm not opposed to that, but I agree with you. Whenever it's okay, let's sit down and that's going to cost you $1,000. Yeah. So
yeah, but that's what I mean. Is like you shouldn't be charging because at the end of the day, the way I see it is when you're coming from an authentic part of you, you should have a normal job that pays your bills and stuff. And this should be something that's on the side. And I hate to say the word hobby, but it should be looked at as like you're doing something outside of your day-to-day routine work. You know,
right. I agree with that 100%. That's what we do. We don't charge for our paranormal investigations. At all, but you know, and we all have full-time jobs to support ourselves. Yeah,
exactly, and that's how I feel too. So I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not against people who have charges or fees, but if you're going to somebody and they're going to sell you snake oil and they're asking you for $500 or more, like that's a big no-no. Yeah. You know, if maybe they're saying $40, we'll sit down for 2-3 hours, you know, and generally whenever someone sits with me and they've already paid once, they can come back as many times as they want, and I never charge them again. Never.
That's awesome.
I'm just so serious. It's because it's, I mean, there's got to be a fee. Also, it's more for like boundary, but I don't go crazy. Like, I mean, $40, $80, that's it. You don't go crap past that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that.
I do have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm not picking up on.
This is Johnny. I was trying to figure out who this was. Is this Johnny?
Dude, it took you so long.
No, because I didn't know who it was. Your voice sounded familiar. I was like, where have I heard that voice before?
It took you so long. I'm actually a little hurt, Chris.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But you know what?
Chris is a buddy of mine. I've talked to him several times, and Chris has actually helped us out a couple of times with clients trying to that you know are having hard times dealing with their abilities.
What's going on?
Helped us out. So yeah, and Chris is freaking amazing, and I love the fact that everyone is always asking. And Chris and I haven't talked about this because it's a little personal. We've never met face to face, but I just picked this up from Chris a lot. People are always asking Chris, "Are you okay? Is everything all right with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But they're like, "No, you don't look okay." The thing people have to know about Chris is not just a psychic, but he's an empath. He actually feels feelings. He feels emotions from other people. And sometimes when you see Chris and he's crying or he's mad, it's not him that's crying or mad. That's just what he's picking up on. And that's, I love him so much for that, because to be able to take that on and still walk erect is amazing.
Yeah, we were talking about that tonight and even yesterday, and I was telling him, like, you're such an empathetic soul. Like, people, they need to know, like, you feel deeply, and this is why you're such a good person. There's very few people like that in the world. Yeah.
Chris, you can pay me for that statement later, Chris. We'll talk.
You know what, Johnny, I appreciate that, because I love the honesty, because that's a big inspiration. And just that alone motivates me to do more. Reach to the top, dude. Reach to the top.
I was very serious, Johnny, when I said that I want someone to map my brain as I do this, because I've been going to my family doctor for the last 10 years and telling him I have migraines, and we get the MRI done, CT scan done, and he can't find anything. But yet I'm here giving him readings, and he's like, "How are you doing that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I want someone to find it." I want to map it, because I want to put that out there and show people, like, I think this is a muscle in the brain that you can exercise that you yet don't get access to. Well,
that study has been done several times, but it was done in the late 50s, early 60s, but it was always done in a negative stance. It was done to disprove the person, which a lot of times it did. But I feel that with psychic abilities, the emotions is such a huge part of that if you're going into it with negativity, then you're killing your study right there.
Yep, definitely.
So,
I agree to that.
I mean, yeah. So, but it would be interesting to do a study like that with someone going into it with that open-mindedness, skeptic open-mindedness, if you will.
Do you know?
So that would be pretty awesome to do that.
Oh, sorry. I keep hearing feedback. So I don't know if it's you still talking or not. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So, you know, like, I find that the most people who get the most reads tend to be skeptics. Did you know that?
Yes, I agree with that because of the, once again, the emotion is such a huge part of what you guys do that, yes, if you can relate to, feel, or share that emotion, of course you can get a better reading. So that makes perfect sense.
I don't know why, but
if I can.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, please.
I'm looking at several, like I said, I'm a parapsychologist. I have a paranormal team. We're very well known in the South. We've been around, I've been doing this for 41 years.
Nice.
And we're looking at a few things to kind of grow. We've had opportunities after opportunities after opportunities to be on television, to be on radio, to be in print. And we've turned them down because in the paranormal field, once you take that step, you lose a lot of your credibility because it becomes a monetary thing instead of a show, an assistance thing. So
I agree.
But what we're looking at is doing our own thing, and we're looking to grow it much larger than it is now through media and social media and stuff like that. I'm wanting to know that is that a good idea? Are we going in the right direction with that?
I'm going to tell you first and foremost, and I know you're going to think, yeah. This is definitely a good idea. The timing couldn't be more perfect. The reason I say that is right now we are in massive shift, huge. Whether you're scientific or spiritual or none other, this is the time where people are looking for some kind of direction. So when you go to social media, as long as you're going with an open mind and an open heart to talk about the realities of what is spirit, what isn't spirit, do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people tend to think like, there's a psychological part to this. I work with a lot of people where they're in an emotional state. And so you have to be so careful because you're responsible for how that person is reacting and feeling and their life moving forward. So when you have somebody who's coming from a really good place, like a really good place, and they go to the media and they start sharing that, you're helping the world realize the difference between reality and the fakes. That make sense?
Yes, absolutely it does.
We really need more real people than the TV personalities that we're getting. Now, mind you, I'm going to say that these TV personalities in a way is good because it's woken society up to the reality that there may be something more than what's tangible and in front of us. So at least it's opening up their minds for open thought. So this is where you've got to be very careful when you're going into this field. What's your standpoint? What are you doing? If you're doing this for the greater purpose, something to really investigate, I say this is a win-win situation.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
and that's the reason why we're wanting to go into that direction is because of the open-mindedness of the general population. When I first started this 40 plus years ago, it was taboo, and it was I was actually being geared to be a young evangelist in the Pentecostal church, and I was asked to leave the Pentecostal church because of my paranormal.
No way, because I wanted to be a nun when I was 17. I'm not kidding.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, because I think you've touched a lot more lives being what you are than you would have of being a nun.
Thank you for that.
But that's like I said, we want to get, that's the reason why we want to do it. We don't want the money. We don't want the recognition or any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, we're going to try our best to stay away from that. What we want to do is we want to get the real paranormal out there, because media and television and movies and crap that's out there has just destroyed the paranormal. Yeah, and it's
creating
destroyed
a
it, and no one knows what the paranormal is anymore. It's all about 3 o'clock in the morning and putting salt and sage in your house and all this bullshit that they say. And I mean, it's
there's a lot of truth and lies mixed together, definitely.
Yeah, and we want to get all that out of there and show people what the real paranormal is, and not this television show stuff. But
well, I think if you did this not for monetary gain, but you do this where, like, if somebody does want to support you financially, as long as you take only what you need to get it going forward, and not because you want a new car, I think you'll be fine. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's making sure that you're stepping on your own 2 feet and you're doing it for the greater purpose, rather than trying to be another, sitcom TV show that wants to talk about chasing bumps and bangs of the noises, and it's not even really real. Because a lot of these shows, they make up that stuff on TV for TV, right?
Right. Oh yeah, so absolutely.
I think that personally, from a psychic standpoint, plus medium, plus scientist, I am scientist at heart. There is I've been to a lot of homes with investigators here in my town, and I've had people say, "Oh, we have a demon," and I come into the house and I'm like, "There's no fucking demon. There's no demon. I'm sorry. I hate to break your bubble. There is someone here. It's just a spirit. He's in the attic. He's just fed up of your kids smoking weed all day." That's pretty much what it is. Right. But you don't want to hear that. They want to hear that there's a demon and we got to do a whole exorcism and all this stuff. And I'm like, no. Right. So I'm about reality. And sometimes people don't like that. But I'm like, you know what? If you're talking to me and you're asking me, I'm going to be straight up. I'm what they call a heoka. I spit truth, whether you like it or not. And that's it. But I'm gentle.
Oh, yes,
I'm not an ass. You know what I mean? I'm not an ass about it. But whenever I do this work.
See, that's the difference between me and you. I'm usually the ass.
Well, that's what we need. We need somebody who's not afraid to be the ass, right?
Yeah.
For me, I gotta be more delicate, because when I'm sitting with people, there are situations. So you're not just working with them spiritually, you're working with them emotionally. So you have to be so careful, because you're responsible for their emotional well-being.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of these
and when I first started in psychology, that was my intent, was to go on and get a doctorate and become a psychologist, because I wanted to help people. But then in pursuit of that, I was an EMT, firefighter, and police officer. And
nice.
I found out that I really don't like people that much. So I said, okay, psychiatry is probably not the job to do for me. And I say that in humor, but I also say it in being able to say that what you guys do, the ones of you that make it and definitely keep doing it and don't become, just another person on television that gets, blown out by the facts, and someone, like a psychic called my late wife a year and a half after she died, and I said, well, you should have known. But, saying all that, what I'm trying to say is that you've got to have that people ability. You've got to have that. Yeah, you have to be able to do that. And that's why I could not do that. Because, I just don't, I'm not going to say I'm hardened, because I'm not, but, so many years in the emergency, field, you do build that up, and it gets a wall, if you will. And you guys are able to accept people and bring them in and relate and guide and
that's the
all
thing,
that.
is like,
so that's really great. It's like teachers. People say teachers. Some people teach, the people that can do and the people that can't teach. And it takes a special person to be a teacher, just like it takes a special person to do what you guys do. And I just don't have that ability. And I'm intelligent enough to recognize that, so I don't do it. But
well, here's the thing: all the teachings you've gone through, the classes you took, the jobs you've done, they were all purposeful, so it can get you to where you are today. You know what I mean? You needed every part of the recipe to make that bread. So now that you've become that bread, it's like, what do you do with it? So this is perfect. This is exactly what needs to happen. A lot of people always ask me, they're like, how come I'm here and I don't like it? And I'm like, well, maybe you need to learn a little from here, because you're going to make something bigger later on. And that's what's happening with you. So I wouldn't say that you don't care. I think you care very much. I just think that you're more on a clinical standpoint rather than a personal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need. We need that balance, right? We need balance. We need somebody to say, hey, let's bring some reality here and really just make sure everything is on the up and up. And that's what we need.
I agree. 100%. Our first live show, we're gonna have to fly you out, and if you'll come to the States and be on our first show, we'll fly you out.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I've actually been invited out to Paracon for July, and I'm beginning to think maybe I got to put that off because of everything that's happening. I've never been to the States yet.
Oh wow, yeah, you've definitely.
I've never left Canada, so yeah.
It's much better there. Trust me. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But you know what?
But look, I know you guys have got other callers. I'll let you go. Thank you so much for speaking with me. I really appreciate it. Chris, you know I love you, man.
I want to say thank you
keep
so
doing
much
what you're
as well.
You know
but I think you're going to
Johnny,
come across someone, Johnny, that is going to be somebody who carries two spirits, and I think they're going to work well with you.
Awesome.
I do see
I
that.
look forward to it.
Yeah, you let me know how that goes. Well, Chris will too, right?
Absolutely, I will.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, because I do help them. And Johnny, I'm gonna tell you right now, thank you for referring me more people, especially with Tori and everybody else. I really appreciate it. It's very uplifting, especially during this time of, you know, how you've been watching me, and I'm pretty sure you've been watching me, and Beth has been watching me. But I really appreciate that. And maybe, you know, you meeting Joe and you meeting me, we need to do a Paracon. I'm serious. We need to do a Paracon together one day. Like I've always said.
I agree. We're actually talking about doing that too, a paranormal get together kind of thing, and then maybe building it into something like that. We've been talking about that for the last year or so, but yeah. So everything's kind of on the back burners right now, obviously. So.
If you need a test lab, buddy, I'm happy to be.
Awesome. I'm gonna hold you to that.
I mean it. I'm so serious. I mean it. Thank you.
Great. So wonderful talking to you guys tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Johnny. Thank you. Take care.
Y'all too. God bless. Good night.
Bye-bye. God bless. Goodbye.
Okay, so we have two more
That was so cool, Chris.
Yeah, okay.
I know. No, it's crazy.
Hold on.
That just made my night. Like, you have no idea. I'm like, what? That just made my night. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm like dancing right now.
This next
I got my own music playing in my head. Sorry, what were we saying?
This next caller scares the living shit out of me.
Oh my God. Is it like some Wiccan?
No.
Is it a witch?
Hold on. She'll tell you who she is to be. Katie,
okay.
Code 830.
Which one?
830.
830.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right.
And what is your name?
Betty.
Betty, nice to meet you.
Oh,
nice to meet you.
Oh my God. Are you a psychic?
Not really.
Do I say anything? I don't know. I keep feeling like somebody who does trans, what do you call that, Chris, when they do transient work? They're like, they work with.
Are you talking about trans? Oh my God! See, now I'm getting tongue tied. Now you got me going.
Now even you're tongue tied, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like the trans, like somebody who can
like
dabble in a little of everything.
You're saying like trance, like almost like hypnotized. There you go, hypnotized work. Is it something similar to that?
Gentle magic is what Chris.
Or something, yeah. Or something
okay,
like
because
that.
I feel it's like magic, like witchery, witchcraft, but not in any negative sense. Just somebody who works with elements. You know what I mean? Is that something you do, Betty?
No.
I don't know. I feel like that's all around you. Like, oh my God, I see candles around you. I'm just like, oh man, what are we doing right now?
Oh, she burns candles, all right, but those are for the people she don't like.
Yeah, and you do also like a video?
Videos? No, not really. I did a lot of Snapchatting with my grandkids.
Okay. Because I feel like there's a camera on you. That's why I'm asking if you do videos. Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being told to shut down. Stop right now. I'm so sorry. I just like, why? What is going on?
Okay. I can't step away from the witch stuff. Like, it's almost like you stand outside and you're like, oh man, I would love it if it started snowing today. And like an hour later, it starts snowing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, love. It's like you
No.
It's like another thing, Betty, that she's saying, that you manifest things. You can make things happen.
Well, that's the thing, is like, people who work with elementals, they don't realize how powerful they are. And even with science involved, I've sat here and watched my sister do it, where she's woken up one day, she's in a pissy mood, and you know, the forecast says we're gonna have sunny days for the next 3 days, and then like an hour later she's crying, and I look outside and all of a sudden we got like this downpour of rain, and it lasts for like an hour. But then that's it. And I'm like, holy shit, did you just make it rain, Jen? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I think you did. You know, and that's kind of like the energy I get with this lady now. It's like, oh my God. I didn't mean to offend or anything. It's just, I feel like you're so strongly with elements.
I'm a very positive person.
Yeah, I don't feel negative.
I get negativity sometimes, but I can be more positive than most people. I always try to pick up everybody's spirits, lift their spirits, regardless of what mood they're in and things like that.
Right.
Regardless of how I feel, I can be down, out, be the moodiest person ever, and still have a happy face or be outgoing for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
People find it hard to read me.
Yeah, because I'm like, I think I need to shut down with you. I don't mean any disrespect. It's just like, why? And I don't know why. I really don't. And it doesn't help that Junior's like, oh, she scares me. And I'm like, great, don't tell me that. You know, I'm like, what the heck?
Well, Junior can tell you who I am to him.
Who is she to you, Junior?
He's in the game, but that's my mom on the phone.
That's her mom on the phone.
You go, she scares me. That might be a good thing. That might be a good thing.
It should be a good thing. No.
You know,
I'm just curious as to how things are going, because I've had a lot of bad run-ins and things like that in the past. I've lost a lot of loved ones, things like that. I'm just trying to figure out which way I'm actually headed.
Let me ask you this, because the one thing I do get is, like, I'm standing at a cemetery, and the funny thing is, I know you're not in New Orleans, but I feel like I'm at a crypt. Does that make sense to you? It's almost like it's an above ground, I don't know if somebody's actually buried there or not, but there's like a headstone, and it looks like it's a family plot, and it's like, you can walk into this.
My mom was buried. She has a headstone. There's a crypt not far from her grave site.
Okay. I gotta tell you what I get real quick, because I don't know yet with this. Usually I don't jump in, but I gotta jump in on this. There's a gentleman who's got a very big belly. Makes me think of Santa Claus. And it's almost like I'm wandering between rows and rows of people, and then I walk right up to this crypt. And usually for me, when I'm at a crypt, it's because they're telling me they're in New Orleans. But I know you're not in New Orleans, so why am I seeing this?
My sister's in New Orleans. My sister's in Louisiana.
Do you guys like visit grave sites or something often, or have you gone to a grave site recently? Because I feel like I'm walking amongst the graves and I'm seeing this crypt, but it's above ground, and I don't feel like there's a lot of people in it, but it's kind of like, that's my second home. That's what I got to talk about.
Oh my God.
There's also like a French connection here for you. Does that make sense? I don't know if the nickname is Frenchy or if I'm French. I've got French in me somewhere.
I might have some French in me. But maybe what you're seeing as far as cemetery, where we live, we've got 10 acres, and right at the end of the 10 acres is the cemetery for the town.
Wonderful. Where's Johnny? Is he listening right now?
No.
I sure hope he is. I sure hope he is.
We were out in our backyard one day. Well, Chris came over to our house, and he says that he could feel a lot of spirits and stuff, especially.
Yes. Well, here's the other thing. I feel like you actually have. Do you have a burial on your property as well? Because I feel like there's a burial on your property.
Oh, there's a pet cemetery around there.
Okay, perfect. Because you know what? You got the mix of. I was just gonna say there's a mix of both worlds, and it's in your backyard.
Yeah.
So who's a heavy set man? He makes me feel like he served in the Navy, or because he's got a big belly, and I think when he passed away, he was really thin. But throughout life, he looked like he was pregnant with triplets.
Oh my God! Don't tell me she's picking up voting.
Because he's making me feel like when I passed, I could not breathe, and I don't know if pneumonia or some kind of lung infection is why I passed. But I lived till old age.
Your dad too. My father.
Who's Joseph? Who's Joseph? Or Joe?
Oh my God.
That was my father-in-law.
Okay, so that's him stepping forward. Johnny, are you still listening? I hope you're listening.
Yes, he is. He's in the chat. He heard you.
Okay, because I have never met any of you guys. I only know Chris, and I've only spoken to Chris a few handful of times. So,
this is crazy.
See, and this is where I wish science would jump in and be like, okay, let's prove this wrong. I would love that.
Well, I think from listening to you earlier, I think Johnny would like to be in my mother-in-law's house.
Oh, Johnny would love that place. Oh my God.
That would probably be really, really cool. Did he have like a homemade tattoo done or something? Because I feel like there's a homemade tattoo and it's faded. It's really faded.
Did you get that tattoo?
No, but
you know what I just heard?
You might be thinking about my father-in-law. He's got a mid-shaped tattoo that's fading.
He's like, get that redone.
I don't know if he can handle it.
No, he said he couldn't. He didn't want it.
Probably couldn't.
That's tattoo. Your dad's.
You know what? He's actually saying, Johnny said that when he wants to go to San Antonio after the virus is over, so he's going to be hitting us up. So I'm just letting everybody know. And you Betty, he's going to.
Johnny? Is that a lunch
yeah. He's going to be coming.
Oh, you mean Johnny saying he's going to San Antonio?
Yes, he's here.
Nice.
In the chat. So he's going to be headed down this way after all this bullshit stops. So yeah,
it's strange.
We're going to start to see a change come May, maybe even into June. There will be a change. It's already changing now. It'll start to shift. But you know what? We got to relearn and start living a new norm. That's why this is happening. You know, whether you want to follow the conspiracy thinkers or not, you know, about the government releasing this or that it came from bats or whatever the stories that they want to feed. At the end of the day, Spirit is saying that this is going to become the new norm. People relearning family values. This is important. This is why this is happening. And you know what's scary? People think Joe must be crazy. And I'm like, yeah, probably. But I'm actually excited this is happening. Not because of the death toll or people being affected, but because of the larger outcome, the bigger picture. It's forcing people to reconnect. That's why I'm excited.
I think this is just the government's way of natural purchasing.
Oh, we got a lot of theories out there. And I think regardless of whatever that theory is or whatever it was that made this happen, in a way, it's kind of going towards a greater good. As screwy as that sounds, don't get me wrong. I don't wish anyone to pass or to suffer the affliction. But if you see the bigger outcome with this, do you know what I mean? Like people reconnecting and bonding and family ties.
And God coming back into where he should be.
You know, I'm going to just throw this out there, you know, because all the kids are home with their families. There has not been that one Amber Alert in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Look at that, right?
That is crazy.
That is beautiful.
People aren't realizing the changes that are actually already happening.
Their own kids.
Yeah. And you know what's weird is I actually sat down with a group and did a reading last year, September, and they remember me talking about there's going to be sickness on the earth and real soon. And they were like, I can't believe you nailed it. And I said, I'm not going to say I nailed it because I didn't know it was going to be this, but I did foresee like the world shutting down. I did foresee it. I just didn't know when or how, but I knew it was coming. Now that could be an open statement. We could put that on anything, I get that. And trust me, the scientist in me says, Joe, you didn't give enough to, validate exactly what it was. But I think alone, just itself, I said, people are going to get sick real bad, real quick. It's going to come in fast like a hot knife. It's going to cut a lot of things down. It's going to force us to wake up. And to the ones who haven't started doing your own inner work, this is going to force it. And I'm like, and it's going to come in just as quick as it leaves.
Yep.
So as this started happening, that lady called me and I was like, you remember that? She goes, everything you say, Joe, goes in the vault. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Because I've been having this hurry up and wait feeling for the last 10 years at least. And I feel like this is it. Sounds crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, Chris, I'm sitting with it going, my God.
I'm going to tell you like this. With us being gifted and all that, you know what? You're not crazy, because if you're crazy, then I'm crazy too.
Well, then we'll be all crazy together.
Have you, or are you still not able to read me, or?
Not really. Aside from their father-in-laws, all I can tell is you're somebody who I feel like I said, I don't want to say witchcraft, but you're definitely somebody who can really harness in like energy and use it. So if you're telling me that you are somebody who people are drawn to just to get that pick-me-up, then that's you using the energy, right? I feel like you're very large in energy. You're somebody who works with it. It's almost like you can change the weather. You can summon things. You can make things happen. I don't know how to put you in that category. It's almost like I said to Chris, it's like a transcontinental, I don't know what you call it, but it's like you can work with everything. And it's like, man, if she even knew like just how powerful she is, and I think you do to some level, man, there's no stopping you. You're going to be what we need. You're going to be like mama to the people here on earth.
Oh my God.
Are you able to read my dad since you can't read my mom?
Yeah, he's sitting right there next to her.
I feel like he's putting his feet up a lot.
Oh, he does.
Yep. He needs new slippers.
Oh,
that's
my
all I'm being
God.
told. He's wearing those slippers down to the very threadbare that it is.
Yeah,
they're making fun. They're like, his shoes are talking to each other. It's like they got mouths on the end of the shoe and it's talking to each other. They're making fun. They're like, he will not let go of the old slippers. Do you have a lot of dolls on your bed? Or do you collect a lot of dolls?
I used to, but right now in my spare room we have stuffed animals that belong to my grandkids and my daughter from when she was ill.
And one of them is like a carnival doll or something you won in the carnival?
I believe it is.
Oh, I see lightning happening. Uh-oh. Quit making it rain, woman. No, just kidding.
Dogs.
You do have energies in your home, but I don't feel like they're stuck or bound. And I definitely feel like they're transient, like they come and go. But you have like animals and people. Like you have like a mix. So your house is always going to be like Grand Central Station. People coming and going. But for you, I don't really feel anything. Oh, one thing I will tell you, there's ringing of the ears. That's when Spirit's talking to you. You'll get a ringing of the ears.
No,
that's my husband.
Oh.
My husband's ears ring all the time.
Well, because Spirit is having fun talking to him. They're probably saying, get rid of the goddamn slippers. Get some new ones.
Put your feet on the floor. Stop leaving them up in the air. He's actually sitting in the recliner right now with his feet up.
Was there a dog that sits underneath the recliner?
Oh,
is there a dog that sits under the recliner?
Yep, there is.
Because they're like, every time he closes the recliner, it's like he's squishing the dog.
Not quite yet, but close.
It's all the time that it happens, right?
She sits right at the edge of it, and one of us gets her every once in a while, but not mashes her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his pet.
Oh, my God. If I spent a night at your house, I'd be busy. Chris, did you ever have to stay at their house? Because, man, I think if I stayed there, I'd be busy 24/7.
Yeah, you know what? They're always active. And she told me, it's funny you said that. She was like, Chris, maybe one day you need to stay over here and we can just go walk around. Because, I mean, when I walk
you don't need to walk around. You just need to sit in the living room.
Oh my God! They would keep me busy. I could already see it. Seriously, I would not be on the phone, and I would not be texting, and I would not. Yes, I would be busy. So yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't have to go very far. You just go from the kitchen to the living room, and you've already got 20 people going, "Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris." And you'd be like, "Oh my Lord." We'd have to tell Betty, you know what? We're gonna go camp in the neighbor's house. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
and I don't even feel then that it would be safe.
You love it, and like, even worse, it's right down the road is the old church cemetery. And
okay, girl, see,
they hear the preacher preaching.
This just even lines up further and further and further about me seeing people walking around among rows and rows of dead people, you know, walking among rows and then cemetery and seeing the crypt. Like, you're just validating even more. I know there's a chance scientifically 1 out of like maybe 300 people that might live near cemetery. I'm scientific. I see that. But to be honest with you, how many people did I say that to tonight? 0. You get on and I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm seeing like a graveyard and a headstone and a crypt. Like, what is up with that? It's almost like I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole.
We live right between both of them, cemetery and the old church cemetery.
You ever wonder why you bought a house between 2 cemeteries?
Well, it was his mom's house and she left the property to him. So
yeah, but he could have sold it and moved. Why'd you guys stay?
Right? Because I won't let him.
It's because you're drawn there, honey. It's because you're drawn. You're going to be mama bear to all those people.
I love it out here.
You know what's weird is ever since I was a little girl, I used to skateboard down to this one cemetery in the downtown core of Toronto where I lived. And I used to skateboard through there at my lunch hour. And I would actually sit on my skateboard right beside gravestones, headstones, and I'd have lunch. And I used to get picked on a lot in school because of that, because people would say, "Oh, she's so weird. Look what she's doing." Well, now, today, I guess people are going to think differently. But even now, I was telling my husband, we're in lockdown. You know where's the best place to go hang out and be at a park? It's at the cemetery. Because ain't nobody going to be at the cemetery. Let's go take the kids and go hang out. And he goes, "Don't you think that's a little morbid?" I'm like, "Not really. It's property that no one's going to be on, right?" Get fresh air. And so long as we don't let the dogs pee on the headstones, we're good.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's the most peaceful place to be because there's going to be little to no traffic. It's calm, it's quiet. And as long as you have your psychic button shut down, you'll be good. But I think someone like me, I don't know if I could live at a cemetery. I think it'd be too busy. I moved out to the boonies. I'm living out by the bush. So I'm great. I'm good where I am. I do have a couple spirits, but they're my ancestors. They're native people. My house is actually buried on top of Indian burial ground, literally on top of it.
Oh, wow.
And I've only got 2 native people here that come in and go, and they work with me. So I'm like, hey, I'm native, you're native, we're good. I hold my teepee ceremonies in the backyard, and I do my all my native stuff here. Like, we're good.
Yeah. Hey, the only time I've been to cemeteries, like when I'm upset or I get mad, well, I'll walk down to the cemetery and I'll sit down there a little while and talk to my mother and father-in-law and then come back. But most of the time it's just all the animals. I'm the one who buries them around here, except for the horses. But
yeah, me too. I get that. Well, I don't have horses, but I end up burying all our animals here. Yeah. You know what? You got to be just a little careful, because when we do go into cemeteries, and it's not something I talk a lot about because I don't want to jade people the wrong way, but I have seen it where people go to cemeteries to do investigations and they think this is the best spot. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. It's a hot spot. You'll get lots of spirit. But what lurks around the cemetery are darker energies who are lower and haven't crossed over, or are looking for somebody to, I guess, become like a leech, you know, and suck off of. So when we go to cemeteries, I always tell people, please don't investigate at one. If you can, please don't. And regardless of what you do, when you leave, always tell them, you can't come home with me. You need to stay here. You know what I mean? Just because you don't know what's hanging out there. I know what's hanging out there. And when I go, I'm always cautious about how I leave, you know, and who I talk to. But it's not a bad place to be. It's just careful, you know? Yeah. Just got to be careful.
Okay, another question is, when my son-in-law was here not too long ago, we were out here and had some friends of ours from Poteet over here. Well, they got the app on the phone, and they were out there with that app, something about ghost detector and something else. We actually, in the back there, heard some people talking, voices.
Well, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Have you yet found a handprint on glass?
No.
because I'm for what I see as you start talking about this, they're showing me a glass, and it's like it's a window that you can't reach unless you climb a ladder or something. And there's a small handprint on the glass, like someone outside is touching your glass window because they can't come in. But they're just there, and they put their, like when kids press their face against the window. This is what I feel. It's like there's a younger spirit that's just kind of putting their hands up on the glass. It'd be interesting to see, like, if you guys can fog up the glass and see if you see it.
I'm wondering if that would be at my mother-in-law's old house, because she has really tall windows.
Yeah, this is really tall windows, what I'm seeing. Like, you can't reach, you got to climb to get it. That's how you would know, like, this has got to be spirit, can't be people, because it's so tall.
Well, see, she used to say that not too long before she got sick, her and her daughter would hear kids playing in the house. She said that she could hear them like coming. They were coming through the wall.
Oh wow!
But I didn't see that.
And also, she was a very spiritual person. She had Jesus pictures. She had her altar. She'd burn candles, both her and my father-in-law. And my father-in-law passed away. Well, she said that she would see people walk through the doorways, walk through the walls, like spirits. But she was never scared of them.
Well, that's good.
And she said that her sister passed away in there?
Was it in the hallway?
Well, in the hallway, yes. There was some spirits through there. I'd walk through there when I lived there, and that you would get certain spots, you would get really, really cold. And then you walk a little further and it'd be warm. Then you go a little bit further and it'd be cold.
I would first check to make sure that it isn't something in the house, like a draft or...
Oh, no, there's no draft in this house, I can promise you. It was only in the hallway, which is right down the middle of the house. And originally, the 4 rooms with the hallway was the original hospital for the old town of Gehenna where we live.
Did they used to have an underground to the hospital from one building to another?
No, but they do have little compartment areas underneath there.
Because I feel like there's a place where people live, and there's an underground old tunnel that used to service where you would take people from one, and instead of walking down the main street, they would cart them underground, like their dead bodies on a gurney underground.
Wow, that's what Chris was saying to Dad, but he said he doesn't.
But you know what?
I said that too.
What you're kind of explaining there is
she's picking up the same shit.
In town, they had his mom owned a restaurant back in the day, and there was a tunnel underneath there. Huh?
Okay.
It was a bar / restaurant, and he said there was a tunnel that went from that restaurant, bar restaurant, to the original jailhouse.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like you got to hide the bodies, not because there's something wrong. It's just you can't walk down the main street with somebody who died. So they would cart them underground under tunnels from one spot to another.
The tree that was in the middle of town, that's what used to be the hanging tree, right?
Mm-hmm. But I feel like where this is happening, there's also people who are living still in this building or this area.
Yeah,
like people. It's almost like people still live there or they sleep there, and it's like they would feel or hear or notice little things, and it's because of this tunnel.
I don't know if it's from the tunnel, but see, my sister-in-law and her boyfriend live in that house, my mother-in-law's house. And they have said that they've heard things and noticed things. Because she had taken my mother-in-law's Last Supper picture that was above the fireplace in the kitchen. She took it down.
Did you guys fight about that picture?
I feel like she said no.
Okay, because they're telling me that there was a fight about the picture.
She did tell me that picture she was told to put that picture back up.
Yeah, I feel like there's a fight about this picture.
I think it's her mom telling her that. And that they've heard other things in that house.
Is Johnny still listening?
Yes, I think so. He's still listening.
I think he would enjoy that house. If my sister-in-law
I think so too.
In there, I think he would enjoy it.
I think it would be a great place to go. I think he would too. I think it would be great to get somebody out there with some scientific tools and just to measure things out, you know?
Oh, yeah. Besides, this is Texas. We'll treat you with hospitality with barbecue.
Well, see, and Junior will not go. He does not like going in that house. He says there's a spirit in there that don't like him.
That house does not like me. Every time I step into that house, I feel like someone's just staring me down in the face like it's on.
My other son-in-law is the same way.
See, it's not always because it's negative, but I will tell you, if you feel like something's staring at you, 9 out of 10, it is. Don't discount your feelings.
See,
that doesn't mean you need to be afraid of it.
That house, my sister used to live in there when she was younger, and she and I both would see black shadows. And she kind of got scared. I didn't see them. I mean, I didn't get scared of them. I'd see them, but I never got scared. I did see a lady one night when I woke up. So I told my husband to go do something because I heard some fighting from his niece. So I told him, I said, get up and go lock the door before they come over here fighting and they wake up your mom and dad. I thought he got out of bed, but I never felt him get back into bed. So I woke up, and when I woke up, he was in bed, but there was a lady standing over the top of him, waving her hands over him.
I think she just died.
I don't know, but I went right back to sleep. I wasn't your best with that one. I went back to sleep, but you do whatever. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, it'd probably be the same thing I would say. I'm going to bed. You deal with it.
Yeah, you deal with him. I'm not going to. But yeah, I've seen and heard things in the house after my father-in-law passed away. The dishes were being done because he always kept the kitchen clean. And
I think he's still there because he's the one that's making the fun about the chair and about the dog and the slippers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's who I feel it is.
He and I were very close. So, I mean, he loved his son, but I think we were a little bit more closer.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom, I think, was closer to him and stuff. But a lot of things have happened in that house that just
don't make sense.
Yeah, it don't make sense, and people are so scared of that house. So I don't understand. I would have loved to stay in that house and live there, but my husband said no. And then
I don't know if I'd live there, but I love going to places that are purported to be haunted because I love to rule out things and I love to see what's actually there. And for me, I'm one of those people, even though I'm a medium and I do connect to spirit, I need proof. Like I myself need proof. I constantly am always asking spirit, come on, man. I believe that you're here. I trust that you're here. Give me something, you know? So I'm one of those people where, like I was telling Johnny, I am medium, I am psychic, but I'm also scientist. And I require like someone to show me something. It's not that I'm second guessing them. It's like, you want me to trust in you? Fine. I will talk to you and do all that, but you got to give me something too. You know, it's like a two-way street. So like I was saying before, I would love to sit down and let a scientist poke at my brain and take pictures and videos and test me until the cows come home. Because I'd love to see what the outcome would be. I myself am very interested. Like on a science level, I'm so interested. I've called the universities here asking them if they would, and they're like, yeah, we don't do that. And I'm like, really? This is a big city, like, city of Toronto. And I go to University of Toronto and they're like, no, we don't do that. But they do have a department. So the one guy told me to go to the mathematical department and talk to someone there. And I'm like, what are they going to do? It's math. I don't think they're going to measure me there, right? But certainly interesting. I mean, I'm very interested.
It's kind of crazy to me that you can't read me, but when I first talked to Chris, he read me real well.
Well, that's the thing is everybody has a medium and not every medium can do it. I've told this to so many people. I'm like, you and I are going to sit down. I'm going to try and sit with you. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And I don't necessarily need people to talk to me. It's more like a, hi, how are you? And you say hi, and then I'll ask you like, how's your day or what's your name? And then that's it.
That's as far as the conversation will go. And it's like my energy is going to connect to yours if there's something there that I need to connect to. If I'm blocked or shut down, there's a reason. So I tell people, I'm like, you can't always be read by all mediums. Sometimes there's a specific medium out there for you. So I tell people, I'm like, I may not be the one that's going to give you the read, but there might be someone else out there who can. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's like being a mechanic. I can fix cars, but I'm not good at bikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So each person has their own energy, and it depends who you sit with. That's at least so far what I've learned, right?
Yeah. So see, it's just also too that a lot of times I can feel. I was telling Chris. I said I get these feelings like kind of like a panic or feeling like something really bad's going to happen, but I cannot pinpoint what that feeling is. And then later on, like when his mom got sick, I had a feeling something bad was going to happen. Well, then she ended up with the stroke. And then my sister-in-law's husband, I had the feeling again, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And then after a couple of weeks of having that feeling, my sister-in-law's husband had passed away. It's like each time I have that feeling something bad's going to happen or a person's going to pass, but I can't pinpoint what it is until it happens.
Well, let me put you to rest here. There has been a time where I had a really bad feeling, and I was at camp for kids. I must have been maybe 9 years old. And for 2 days, I was like, oh, my God, something bad's going to happen. And my camp counselors were like, no, everything's fine. I get home, and later that night, my mother had attempted suicide. She was never that person who'd do that before. And we moved into a very haunted building. We were only there for 1 year. But something told me, and I had that gut feeling. And so when I went to my friend's house, the same day I got home from camp, I was at home, and then my mom's like, go to your friends for a while. So I went to see my friends, and I was there for like an hour. And remember, this is back in like 1982, 83. And so you don't have cell phones or anything. And I had a feeling like, call home. So I called home. She didn't answer. And so I grabbed my sister, and I said, we need to go home. And it was only early in the day. We get home, and I had this urge, like, I got to get in my house. And sure enough, I found my mother, and they said that I had saved her life.
Yeah.
But nobody would have known. There was nothing to indicate. Now, that's one out of a million things. When my sister passed, I called and told my mom for 3 days. I kept dreaming of my sister suffocating. Sure enough, on that day, she was run over by a snowplow, and she drowned in her own blood and her fluids in her lungs. And my mom was like, how did you know? And I'm like, I don't know how I know. I just know. I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know when it was going to be, but I knew it was coming. So these are what we call premonitions. You know, something that's coming you don't yet understand or know, but it's there. Fair enough?
Fair enough. Like I said, it freaks me out until this stuff happens. But yeah, I didn't understand. But I do appreciate you talking to me, and kind of disappointed you couldn't read me, but it's okay.
Well, I'm always fair and honest with everybody I sit with. So, you know, not everybody gets to read. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, I'm sorry to let you down or disappoint you, but this is the way it is. I can't change it.
Yeah.
You know, trust me, I've had people get mad and you're going, this is no fair. And I'm like, well, do you want me to lie to you? I can do that.
Right.
But I don't come from that standpoint. So.
Yeah. No, I understand. And I appreciate it.
No problem.
You're welcome, Betty.
Blocking her, or she can't connect with your energy.
Yeah, either you're blocking her, or she's like she says, you're probably blocking her. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility.
You're blocking her.
I think
she can't catch onto your energy.
It's pouring that rain.
Well, it could be that rain too, but you know what? Usually people are like, well, I'm very open to messages. I'm so open. How come you're not reading me? And I'm like, I really don't know what it is. I can't say that it's you who's blocking it, but I find several reasons why. One would be if you're somebody who's been taking drugs or alcohol, or if you're somebody who's like in a very emotional state, or if you're somebody who's, you know, you've been trying too hard and it's like, I can't get through that. You know, and grief wall. Sometimes I've had people come to me who said, my mom just died yesterday. Can you connect? And I'm like, well, I feel spirit here, but I can't connect. You know why? Your grief wall is too high. I can't get through. Right? So there's various different reasons, but I've always been honest with my clients, and I've always told them up front, listen, you know what? Today is not a good day. I don't feel anything, you know, or come back in 6 months, or perhaps you need to find someone else who can do the read for you. You know how many times I have to tell people that and they get angry? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I wish I could, you know, but I do free readings. Well, listen, every Saturday at 10:30 at night, I do free readings, and you're more than welcome to watch me on Facebook. And I always invite people to come on in, and I do this for years now. I do free reads. So if you want to give it another go, you jump on in. You don't even have to introduce yourself. It's all online. It's typing. So you can go under someone else's account even, and I wouldn't know it's you. You know what I mean? And we'll just let it, happen organically and see if it happens, right?
Yeah.
I love to be tested. I love doing blind reads. I love doing it where I don't know the person. I don't know where they're from. I don't know their name, nothing.
Yeah.
Because that's more, to me, I know it sounds bad, but it's actually more fun for me. Does that sound terrible? Like, it sounds more fun to me because I get to investigate, but through spirit. You know what I mean? I get to go, okay, I got this and this and this. What does that mean for you? And people are like, oh my God, how'd you do it? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's so fun when I do it.
Yeah.
And I try,
I'll get the information from either Chris or from Junior.
Okay.
So that way I can maybe contact you later or something.
Yeah.
Sure. Not a problem.
Don't feel
That
bad.
way, I think you have one more caller. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Well, the caller.
How are
hopefully
we
they're
for time, Chris?
We only have two. I believe if they're still on hold. If you're still on hold, we got two.
We
callers,
have
and then
we
that's
have
gonna
three
be it for the night.
three callers on the line, Chris.
Okay.
Well, there's two.
All right.
But that's including Christopher. That makes three.
Okay. Well, we've been on.
We
Is
have
that
the
what?
two callers, Christopher.
How are you doing, Chris?
And
I'm
Katie.
doing good. I was going to talk to you, but I'll probably talk to you after the show. I got to talk to you. But I'm not going to discuss. It's nothing bad, but I'll just talk to you. I'll call. Okay, we'll talk after the show.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you again, Betty.
But it didn't work. Thanks. I appreciate everything. And you have a good night.
You too, dear. Take care.
I will. All right, we'll talk to you later, Chris.
And you take care and you have a lovely evening.
You
So
too.
we'll do area code 646.
Oh, I like that accent. Who was that?
That's the producer.
Okay.
I
Hello,
love that
everyone.
accent.
Good evening.
Who do we have?
It's Faith.
Hey, what's up?
Hi, Faith. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Have
How
you
was
been
everybody?
reading this? Girl, have you been hanging on this whole time?
Yes, I thought I'm like, I'm giving them 10 more minutes.
Oh,
I feel like I'm stuck
baby
in the
girl.
corner in my room.
Oh, I hope this didn't cost you a whole lot. I'm
No,
so sorry.
not at all. It's all right.
We
It's
get carried
interesting to hear
away.
anyway. No, it's okay. Not like I can go anywhere at midnight anyway, so.
Yeah. You know what I keep
No,
hearing? I hear a Neil Diamond song, Sweet Caroline, boom, boom, boom. I keep hearing that. For the last 10, 15 seconds, I keep hearing it playing on a loop. Are you in Carolina or North Carolina or something like that?
No, New York.
New York. Okay. I don't know why, but maybe this song's going to play for you in the next couple of days, maybe in the next couple of hours. But I keep hearing that Neil Diamond song, Sweet Caroline. You know the song, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Boom, boom.
I don't know why.
I can see Chris just dancing to it right now. Like, yeah. That should be our next break song next time we do this. We do the Sweet Caroline song.
I know. Well, then I'll pick it for you, Joni, because we're definitely going to have you back because I've had a good time, especially with the freestyle. Oh, my God. I love freestyle. I love it.
I'd love to have you on mine as well when I do my live shows on Saturdays. Because it's Facebook, I don't know. They used to be where you could do the videos and invite people in, but now Facebook shut that down where it's like, I don't know, how are we going to do this? So I downloaded an app called, I downloaded an app called Be Live. But remember I was saying with all my electronics going crazy over the last few weeks, I'm like, I don't even know. I'm going to have to try this with Stacy and Chanel and see if they'll help me get it going because I'm the worst with technology. I'm a dinosaur. Seriously and legitly. That's why I said I'm just going to call in Chris because I can't do the video stuff.
It's okay. It's okay.
So Faith, how about we give I'm going to put you on spot for a minute, Chris. How about you give Faith what you get, what you feel?
Oh my God.
How do you feel about that? Huh? We're going to turn the tables on the guest here.
Well, I think I already read Faith. You
have?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
But I can help you out though. But I don't know what you're getting.
For me, I feel like relationships are on the table. Does that make sense, Faith?
Yeah, I don't have any right now, but there's one that wants to come back in, and I don't want it.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Yeah, I feel like this is just a test. It's like there's something in that relationship you need to look at, but that doesn't mean you need to be in it. I feel like there's got to be a review, looking back on all the things you've been through with this person. What are some of the things that you feel that you haven't yet gotten from this relationship? So when you think about your ex, what is the one thing? Let's say he's like, oh, I love you so much. I'm going to marry you tomorrow. Let's get married. And you're like, let me think about it. What's the first things that come to your mind? You know, what is it that you miss from this person? These are going to be things that are asking you to look at and teach. And not teach, and learn from the teaching, right? Because each relationship is here to teach us something, right? Yeah. So I feel like that's what you got to do with this. That doesn't necessarily get back in a relationship. They're an ex for a reason, sweetheart. But there's something there that you need to look at. The other is, I feel like higher learning is coming for you. So even though the schools and everything's on lockdown, I feel like there's studying coming up for you. Like, you got to study.
Oh, I'm doing that now. I'm about to finish my associates this month, actually.
Oh, perfect. What are you taking?
Medical information management, what I do for my career. But I'm looking actually to continue with that. And then looking into doing like medical coding. And then, you know, dabble in some
For some reason, I feel like you got to look at something with law as well. I would look into law area, because I feel like you could always advantage having this in your back pocket, the law course. Now, I'm not saying go out and spend thousands of dollars and take a course. I'm just saying, like, this is something you should be looking at, and perhaps find out if there's any alley you can take that would help. Hi, sweetheart.
Oh, yeah, that was my little one that came in.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, that was like your daughter, one of your two daughters, right?
Yeah, she's asking for chocolate milk. I'm like, your brother's over there.
I was just going to ask, is that your second child? Because I feel like there's 2 births I got to talk about, but there's one more on the way. And that's in the next 2 years. You're going to have another one coming your way. So whether this is going to happen organically or this is someone coming to you saying, I need help with my child. Because I feel like you're going to parent a 3rd child.
Oh, well, I have 3, actually.
Okay, well, this is going to be a new one coming in. I promise this is something new. I just don't yet know. Usually I'll get a feeling and say, yeah, you're going to give birth next year. This feels more like there's a child coming into your life soon, and it's going to be very, I say 2 years, maybe less. But it feels, I'm not yet sure if this is something you're going to give birth to or if someone's coming into the relationship with you and having a child.
That's kind of interesting, because now
that is interesting.
Because you said that you have that ex, right? Well, but added to what she said, it's not going to be the ex. It's going to be another guy that's going to come into your life, and it's going to be a guy.
Yeah,
it's going to be the guy that's going to come. Because I'm being told that he's watching you. He's been watching you for a while. Okay.
I feel like this person is going to bump into you because of an accident. So I don't know if it's because of an actual accident or they're going to bump into you by accident, but this is going to be a soul you recognize. So somebody from the past or somebody who was friends with someone you know from the past. Like, this is somehow like a circle within a circle. I don't know. Let's play devil's advocate for a second, okay? Let's imagine that, you know, you're dating someone, you're in a relationship, and it turns out their brother dated a girl who you were best friends with her sister. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's almost like that childhood friend, 25 years fast forward, steps into your life and you start talking and chatting and, you know, you start getting into the relationship, and then you find out, oh my God, you dated my best friend's sister when we were kids. That's crazy. That means we could have known each other when we were little. It's almost that feeling I get. It's like your soul is like meeting with someone that was in your past, but it's not necessarily somebody you were with. It just means somebody that was around you. And if I can say, it would be a daughter energy coming in, or female.
Oh my God, I was going to say that.
Right? Because I feel like it's female. It's coming in female. Now, do you get a lot of black feathers recently in the last year?
I do find a few. Yeah, I get a few different things, which is weird. I've seen a lot of grasshoppers, like praying mantis usually, and feathers, yeah.
That usually represents luck. But for feathers, like, they're making me want to say the crow, which is so weird, like the raven.
It's funny because I have them all over my job. And maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, there must have been, when I say like 4 flocks together outside my job, but going back and forth, like I actually had to drive through. It looked like the movie Birds.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Because this is what I'm seeing is like the crow. It's like a lot of them. You know what they call that when you see a bunch of crows together? It's called a murder.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that? That's so creepy.
No, I didn't. It was creepy. I even videotaped it to like Snapchat to show my girls when I came home, my little ones, to be like, how I've never seen so many in one place.
Who's Rose? Or Rosa? Rose.
Not sure.
I feel like there's a Rose that's on the other side, and I normally don't do full names. I usually just stick with initials, but I feel like there's a Rose coming in. This would have been a lady who wants to talk about being around a lot of water. I don't know if it's like an island and there's water all around, or like, I don't know if you guys have this in the States, but here in Canada, like if I'm driving up to Thunder Bay to my hometown, we go through this little pass where it's called the Land of Lakes, and there's like 1,000 lakes. And in each lake, there's like a little bit of an island. It's almost like a small island. This woman is making me feel like that's what I want to talk about. It's like there's a small little island nestled amongst the lakes or waters, body of water. She keeps talking about, there's a gentleman named John, I think his name is John, and paying respect too. Because I'm seeing like pink ribbons tied on a white cross. So I feel like this would be her energy. And she's giving me Rose or Rosa. I don't know if I'm saying it properly because it's got a bit of a curl to it, the name.
Interesting.
I'm not too sure yet, but I would just jot that down and talk with your family because they may know this. I don't know, but I never second guess whatever spirit brings in. I just got to spill it out, you know?
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I'm like, listen, I'm human. I'm fallible. I can't guarantee anything. I never do, but I'll just spit out what I get. And it's always like, I always get those people that call me back, you know, days, weeks, months later and say, oh, I had my aha moment. My aunt understood everything you gave me. I'm like, oh, okay, there you go. I think what they do when they do that is just to validate that they are a part of your life and they're watching over the family.
That's interesting.
And that's about it.
We do have a big family, but I don't know offhand anybody being called by that name.
Okay.
Then when you said female, John, I got like with the second guy that's gonna come into her life, I got maybe like 12, 11. So the girl's gonna be little.
Yeah. I also feel like their horoscope sign is gonna be represented with the number 12. So it might be like somebody who's a Sagittarius sign. Do you know what I mean? Because I do resonate with the number 12 as well.
Actually, that's a sign of one of my daughters is a Sagittarius, actually.
Oh, wow.
That would be her. Yeah. That would be her other sister that's in another family. And that's where the guy comes in. He's gonna reconnect. Yeah.
This is why I love you, Chris. You're awesome. You really are. You're wonderful.
So she would have that connection with the other girl, not necessarily me.
Yeah.
So it'll be one of my daughters then. That would be my little okay, I can see a connection. That's my third daughter. My third daughter is a Sagittarius, the little one that acts for the chocolate milk.
Okay.
She's a Sagittarius. She's born in December.
Yeah, because I feel like it's a Sagittarius, the 12, yeah. Because I can feel that connection for that. Chris, I just felt like somebody just tried to walk into me.
It's probably just you're probably going to start channeling, girl. You better be careful.
Yeah, you know what, that happened a few weeks ago. Like I do channel, but like this one time I channeled where I blacked out completely, and it lasted maybe 15 to 30 seconds, and I was live on air, and it scared the crap out of me. Where I ended my live right then and there. I was like, "Sorry guys, gotta go," and I hung up.
I remember that.
Oh, you were there for that? That scared
I came on when you came off, and then I seen you post it, and I'm like, what? Here.
Then that's probably because of you, young lady. Can I blame you for that?
No.
Oh my God! Because I felt like I was gonna black out, and I'm like, I'm live on air, and people are watching, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm used to channeling, but there's certain limits. Do you know what I mean, Chris?
Yeah.
And this was one of those ones where I felt like I was blacking out. My eyes were open, but everything went black. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to pass out right now. I got to hang up. And I just felt that right now. And you're telling me, Faith, that you were on when that happened last time?
I was just about to come on, and I seen you free. Like, I seen the video. I was actually logging on, and you actually just ended your live. And then I was reading, and I went back to look, and I read the post, and I'm like, oh, that was strange. And then Stacey told me too. I was like, what?
So
really?
then, you know what? I'm going to blame you for that. That's what I'm going
to do. Oh, Lord.
It could just very well be, you know, maybe a family member really wants to connect and is trying to do that, you know. Most times when I do channel, I kind of know in advance when it's coming, and I kind of get like a dizzy, sick feeling. And then I know, like, I got to prepare myself, right? But when you get those surprise ones, that's where I kind of draw the line. I'm like, not today, Albert. I'm sorry. Got to sit back.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, too, because it's overwhelming.
Yeah, because I don't know if I'm having a heart attack or what's happening, because, you know, it's all of a sudden, right? And it turns out that I'm fine. I mean, my doctor probably thinks I'm a hypochondriac because I go to him like every month, like, hey, something's wrong. Check me out. And he's like, nothing's wrong. Like, you're fine. We've done so much tests on you. Like, it's not even funny. And it's just because I need to, in a scientific way, rule out anything that might be happening that isn't spiritual. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, if I ignore it and it turns out to be something scientific, like wrong, then I've ignored it, I put my health at risk. So I'm always at his office, and he's looking at me like, girl, something wrong with your brain, because there's nothing wrong with you. You know, you keep coming in and there's nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, I know, but I have to make sure, you know.
Yeah, usually I bother my father first and ask him and get his medical opinion, and then I'll decide to go.
Yeah, I think this is definitely male energy, because that's what I remember feeling the last time. That's crazy.
It blows your mind.
I don't know if it's really me, but it's fine.
Well, with that, Faith, I'm going to let you go, because I don't really feel anything much more, and I think we're starting to wind down as well. Did we still have someone else after this, or?
I don't know.
We have three more. So the next one is area code 269.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Faith. I love you.
Thank you. Love you guys too.
How do we make it 3? I thought it was only 2.
No,
Chris, who's the one that's doing the area code talking? Because that is so cool.
That's Christina.
Have one more caller, Christopher and Katie. I can't even say it. Katie wants to.
Is there another male online right now?
We have another male. Yes, we do. We have Christopher.
Yes, it's Christopher.
Okay, let's bring him on, because I feel like I got to talk to a man.
Okay,
not that I already talked to men here, Chris, but I feel like I feel like there's a male that I need to connect with.
Okay, Christopher, you can put yourself on mute. Christopher, you can say hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm all right. It's been really interesting lately.
He was trying to get a reading from you, but it was just kept having more calls, and I'm thinking, man, people just keep calling in.
And I kept enjoying listening to the callers. They were great.
So what is it that you have for her?
Thank you.
So what is it that you have for her, Christopher? Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you first and foremost, Chris, there is a gentleman here, and he wants to talk about glasses. Do you know who connects with the glasses?
I wear glasses.
He's like, wash them fucking things.
What the?
He's like, how are you seeing through those glasses? Wash them. I don't know why. I just got to say it, because he's making me feel like they're foggy or something. And he's like, wash them glasses.
What the
heck? Do you see things?
Yeah.
Do you see things in spirit? Because he's like, tell him to wash his glasses, and maybe he'll only see half of what's happening. You know, because he's like, maybe there's a spot on your glasses, and you think you're seeing a ghost, but meanwhile, it's a spot on your glasses. He goes, get them clean so you can actually see what really is there. And do you have a clock, like a chiming clock? Like, you know those old cuckoo clocks? And you got to wind it up? Because I'm hearing like a cuckoo clock, but it's not going cuckoo. It's just, I feel like I got to, like,
it's in spirit.
Tick, 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 tick. Yeah.
It's in spirit. I don't have one, but it's in spirit, the sounds I get.
Yeah, because I'm hearing it.
And last night was so intense. Last night was so intense. My right ear was
ringing.
More than ringing.
Do you walk around, Chris? Do you walk around with a gun?
No.
Because they're like, don't give him any handguns.
No. No,
I don't know why.
No, I'm actually anti-gun.
Okay.
I'm a liberal.
Okay. Well, me too. I'm a liberal. I feel like they're saying because the slightest noise you hear, if you had a gun, you'd shoot at the noise. And they're like, don't give him a gun.
Yeah, you're right. I have cerebral palsy. Yeah, I nervous system problems. I have cerebral palsy and I have a Chiari malformation.
All right. There's a heavy set lady on the other side for you. Do you understand this?
Yeah, my mom.
Okay, she's a heavy set lady. She's like, you be careful how you describe me. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Be careful. She is very, very headstrong.
Yeah, she's telling me to be careful how I describe her because she doesn't want me to say the wrong thing. That's why I said heavy set, not fluffy.
Go on.
She's like, you know what would be a fun night is if you put a little bourbon in that tea. Put a little whiskey shot with that tea. I also feel like she did health care of some kind, or she took care of people health-wise.
Home health aid.
Okay, because she's like, I'm doing that on this side too, God damn it. She's like, I never get a rest. She's like, I cross over to the other side and I'm still doing this kind of work.
Oh, you were right about she never rested because I never had a break from contact when she died last year.
Okay. Because she hasn't stopped. She's still taken care of. But she makes me feel like she's like, you know what? If I don't do it, no one's going to do it. That's her personality.
Yes. And I just recently met a lost brother that was hers.
Oh, nice.
Just like last weekend. She's actually had 5 kids, not 4.
Yeah.
She's telling me to tell you. She's like, all he does is sit and snack all day. Tell him to quit snacking.
Are you sure you're not picking up Chris?
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know, man. I feel like this is connecting with the other Chris because she's like, I can see him nibbling on little bits of tea here and cookies and biscuits and cake and bread. And she's like, all he does all day is nibble, nibble, nibble.
I do. I eat
at night.
I eat chips
all
the time.
That's Junior. She's not talking about me.
I'm not talking about our Chris. I'm talking about that gentleman Chris with the glasses.
Yeah.
See, told you.
Yeah, I eat chips and stuff all the time.
Okay.
Turn it off.
Now, there's a gentleman that's coming in and he's teasing you. He's like, go get him a man bra. Now, I don't know why they're deciding to pick fun, but they're deciding to pick fun at you, and they're just teasing you.
I know that. I think he's a deceased relative also.
Yeah, I feel like he belongs to the family in some way, but he don't get along with Mom so well. Not that they fight, but they don't see eye to eye, and he's making a joke at you. He's like, tell him to go put on a man's bra.
Ask him if he's my real dad. I fought with him like a week ago in Astral.
Yeah, I feel like this would be him because he makes me feel like he ain't getting along with a lot of people, but he likes picking and poking. He likes to, you know what he's making me feel like? He likes to come in, stir the shit pot, sit back and watch it unfold.
Oh my God, sounds like my dad.
Let me tell you a little bit about him. He was abusive to my siblings. That's why I was taken away at birth, and that's why my brother was taken away, Christopher.
Okay.
That's his name, my brother. Same name as me.
I feel like he still does that, you know, not to say that he's like this terrible person or anything, but I feel like he still likes to nitpick, you know, but he's doing it and laughing.
Yeah.
He thinks it's real funny.
I don't let him in unless I'm in a structured psychic setting like I'm talking to you. Yeah, I don't talk to him on my own because he has caused me harm.
You know what needs to happen, Chris, is you need to get to a place when you're ready to do some healing work with him. Right? That needs to happen, but only when you are ready. So you know what I would do if I was you? If you're able to, either you can talk to him out loud or you write him a Dear John letter. Do you know what I mean? And you sit down and you go through all the things that had bothered you in life and the things that you think and feel about him in your relationship. And kind of like, it's like you're sending it to heaven. You're sending it to him.
It was scary. I never met him.
That's okay.
I was taken away at birth in like a 5 foster home, adopted, and I was in what they call personal care homes and stuff. So I didn't always been a ward until I was like 25. I'm 50 now. And
you sound like you're 34. You don't sound 50.
Thank you. My neurologist thinks I'm younger too.
Yeah, you have like a very young energy to you. That's beautiful.
There's one of your callers I identify with, but one of your callers tonight, I like him.
Okay.
Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny. Connected to him. He connected to him in a lot of ways.
We're a lot alike. I just want to warn you that.
That's perfect.
So
was there something you wanted to ask me?
Yes, I just let you talk, though. I did.
Is there anything else that you, Christopher?
Yes. Now I'm at my question.
Okay, go ahead.
Last night, the past couple of weeks, I've been having intense dreams about 2 different locations, Monaco, and I've seen the curse what stops me from ever being able to go there in this life. And also, secondly, I've been traveling to California in dreams. And this last night, I had a dream last night after all the ears feeling like we're being pierced and ringing. I dreamed I was going to this place as if I was doing the right path, I'd eventually be there. It's like a really nice home setting stuff like that. I wonder who I was talking to. It was really nice. That was the question. Who was I talking to?
I'm just listening. I'm just waiting. The thing is that you have 2 people that work with you in spirit, and you would know this. And I feel like there is a female, and she's directly close to you. She's been with you since birth. But I feel like there are 2 males off to the side, but only one of the males communicate with the female. The other male doesn't. And I don't know who they are because I don't feel like they're family. They feel more like they're people who are beings. Like, I don't even know if they were even born into Earth.
The female is indirectly. The female is related to me 5 to 8 generations back.
Okay, because I feel like the female is very much, she's got like a very tight bond with you. She's been with you from day one. So I feel like she works very closely.
I even know her name.
Wonderful. You know what's weird is when you were talking about it, I've actually been dreaming for the last week or so about California. I keep dreaming about it. I don't see anything particular that I need to talk about, but it's always like I'm in a different scenario, but I have a knowing that I'm in California, and I don't know why. And so as you're talking about it, it's pulling at my soul. It's reminding me like, hey, he's talking about it. You know, there's something to this. I just don't know what it is.
I have a question for you, Ben. This is for you personally. You know the name Gracie? But
I don't know if it's someone you're asking me if I know of, but I do know that name. I've heard of that name before.
And I'm talking about spiritual.
Yeah, she's dead now. She's been dead for 30 years, since the 80s. All right. All right. Right now, I'm curious. What do you feel where she's been? You'll be surprised if you did.
I don't know why I want to say this, but I feel like I got to go to the Hollywood Cemetery. Like something to do with Hollywood.
You're correct, Grace Kelly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, I just didn't really want to tell you because I don't like telling psychics what they need to know.
Yeah, it's not so. It's just, you know what? The weird thing is I've been for the last, I don't know, maybe because of this coronavirus, every time I go on Facebook every time I go on YouTube, I'm watching all my favorite shows from back in the 70s and the 80s. I'm watching All in the Family. I'm watching Golden Girls. Ask me why the last few times when I go on YouTube, the next video they recommend, when they recommend you something to watch, it's about Hollywood cemeteries. And every time I see that, I keep hearing the name Gracie. And I'm like, what the hell is Gracie got to do with this? I'm not watching no cemetery crap. I want to watch All in the Family. I want to watch my Golden Girls. Right?
I've been to where she's buried. She's buried. She didn't want to be buried in California, but they ended up burying her with her married family. She's buried in St. Nicholas Chapel in Monaco.
Okay.
Yeah, and
the princess.
And the thing is that before I watched this movie of hers, High Society, I woke up being sung to about the main song of this movie, True Love. And I woke up and it was her. Imagine that.
Wow.
Imagine that. And it's like freaky. And I feel like California, that place is another place I want to go to where her married family is. Yes. And this is wild. You were able to read me right off the bat like this before I even asked you stuff.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. No, it's good that you can. I was gonna say, Jody, are you okay? Because I don't know if you'll be able to. Because I know Katie wants reading, the producer, and Junior. Do we still have that caller on queue?
Yeah.
So we can make it short because I know everybody's probably getting sleepy.
Yeah.
So
we can do two more.
Are you
Thank
sure?
you, Christopher, for calling in. Yes, we can do two more.
I'd like to talk to you sometime later if I can. Reach out to you.
For sure. You can connect with Chris and he'll tell you where to find me.
Okay.
Because I'll give you her information. You're welcome.
Thank you, Chris. Take care. God bless. Good night.
God bless you.
We have area code 269.
So this would be the last one until Kate. The last one would be Katie, but that's going to be off air. We can do that one off air. Unless if Katie, you want to do, I don't know. Unless if Katie wants it on air, I don't know. But,
that's up to her. It's fine by me.
Okay, so 269 area code. Hello, caller.
They're still muted. There you go.
Hello.
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 Thank you for waiting and being so patient. I appreciate that. How are you?
Good. Am I talking with Joanne?
It's Joni. Yes, you're talking with Joni. No, don't be sorry. It's okay. It's a lot of people actually have a hard time understanding how to pronounce it. It's called Joni, like the famous singer Joni Mitchell.
Okay. So I had actually talked to you recently. And you had a little little rabbit.
I just had a rabbit run in front of me right now. Chris, I'm going to have to take a picture and send it to you so you can share it with her.
Okay, I'll send it.
I'm not even, I just went back outside to have I have a bad habit. I smoke and I drink coffee. So I just put coffee to boil. I came outside here. Hold on. Let me catch it again. I came outside to have a cigarette. Hold on 1 second. Oh, please, Bunny, don't run off because she needs to see this. Oh my God. I'm not even fucking with you. Like, there's no chance.
That's the sign, spirit.
That is so crazy.
Well, I know what has one more caller. Katie, do you want to do that one on air, yours, or do you want to do
Hold
it
on.
off air? I know she's still.
We can do it on
taking care
air.
of Do you want to do it off air?
Either or.
Okay. Well, then I'll make that up to Jody because I don't know what she wants. It's up to between you both.
1 second, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch this rabbit and not scare it away. It's a little blurry, but you'll see it. It literally just came out. I'm not even screwing with you. So I'm going to send it to Chris. Let me see here. Okay. So what was your question? While I'm sending this photo, what did you want to ask?
So I was just wondering if there was anybody, because I had talked to you about my pendulum that I do. Somebody, I believe, watches over me. And I just want to, if you can tell me if it's who I think it is. Does that make sense?
It does. I feel that this is male energy that's watching over you. I'm arguing with it because I feel there's also female around you, but I want to say that it's the male that's more dominant between the male and female. He's the one that's stepping forward more, like I'm trying to help her. There is a younger female with you as well. I want to say she's under the age of 12, and she's somebody that you would have spotted, seen, or spoken to and know of. Do you understand this? Because it's almost like your house is haunted by like 4 or 5 children, but they're not connected to your home. They're on land, but it's less than a mile away from you, and they come to your house.
Huh.
Do you have small children at home?
No.
Okay, because I'm hearing children talking and laughing. That's why I asked, because maybe they're talking with the spirit. But if you don't have children, then I'm guessing it's the spirit.
Well, that's what you said when we talked before, too.
Okay.
Laughing.
I don't really remember the read. I just remember about the bunny and pregnancy coming. Because usually with rabbits, whenever I get them, they talk about multiple. Like, what are rabbits known for? They're known for being quick and nimble and keeping a watchful eye, knowing when to lay low and when to run. But they're also known for fertility, being able to multiply quickly, right? So this is the second time now I'm talking to you, and I just came out and I sent Chris the pictures. I caught picture of the bunny. Did you see it, Chris?
I haven't even looked. I was looking at it, but it was this damn phone that's messing with me. It's like spirits. Like, I know. I'm looking at it right now.
I'm trying to take picture of it. It's running away as I'm taking a picture. So you'll see 4 photos, Chris, and each one you see the rabbit is moved in each picture. And it's right on the driveway. So this is insane that this is the second time it's happened now, and you and I are on the phone. The male energy is the one that I feel that works with you more closely. I feel that he's the one that's trying to help guide you. Okay. I'm not sure who this would be for you, but the female is in the background, so she's not far behind him, but it's the male, I think, who's maybe even just for tonight, but I want to say overall in general, it's almost like he's the one that kind of does more of the work with you than the female. I don't know if this is a great grandfather because his soul feels very old to me, but I can't age him. Like, I can't tell you if like this is grandpa.
He would almost be like younger to you, but would be like, if he was still here, he would be older.
Yes, definitely.
Because the person who I think watches over me died young. Like,
but if he was here, he would have been older. Yes.
Like, yeah, in his like late 50s, early 60s.
Yes, definitely. Because I feel like it's an old soul. Is that rabbit coming back? Shut up. Let's see if I can get picture number 2 with him. Maybe if I don't move. This is wild because I haven't seen rabbits since we last talked. Okay. Well, he's running back behind the school, so I don't think I'm going to catch him.
Yeah, I saw
That's too
something,
funny.
but you know what? But even though I don't know the caller, but I'm going to tell you like this. When you took that picture, you know what's so weird? Okay, when you took the picture, was the rabbit like on the sidewalk, like way further away when you took it?
Mhm.
Okay, well, in front of the picture, there was an image of a poodle. Why, what's the poodle about? I don't know. That was weird because I'm looking at it and it looked like a poodle, a spirit of
I don't know.
or a dog, or it looks like I don't know. It's weird.
Well, Chris, you're picking up on my dog because I have a dog that looks like a poodle, but he's not outside. He's inside. So you're probably picking up on my dog.
Oh, that is weird. No, but when you took the picture, there's a spirit dog. There's a spirit.
I mean, that's so crazy. Their bunny comes back though.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love when spirit does that. It's called synchronicity, honey. Validation.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you for calling back. And I sent Chris the photos, so it's just to validate that Bunny has shown up again. And I think you're going to be working maybe even with the rabbit energy. So look to the rabbit energy and what you can use from that. Because for us in our native teachings, they say that when animals show up, they're there to help give a teaching. They're there to help you. So your spirit animal might be a rabbit that's going to work with you. Rabbits signify luck, prosperity, and fertility and abundance. Being fast on your feet as well.
That's so cool.
That's crazy because when you said spirit, when you're reading her, you said spirit animal, right? Well, I got spirit totem. It's the same thing.
Yep.
You said what was the?
Well, she said spirit animal, and I got spirit totem. It's like a totem that comes to you.
The same thing.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's a different aspect of saying it's just different. It's the same thing, but
so like say I keep seeing the same thing, that would be like
that would be your animal, a message coming from spirit.
And the animal is delivering that message. So look to the attributes of the rabbit. That's what they're giving you the message of. Okay? So you can Google, what is the spirit animal totem, bunny or rabbit? And then it'll tell you. Fair enough? Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for calling.
It was good talking to you again.
It was great talking to you too, sweetheart. You take care.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, caller. That is
all
weird.
right. Let's get to our last one. I think we've been on now like 3.5 hours.
I know. That's what my producer was saying.
Oh my God.
We were making it because we usually do like, I think 3-hour shows, but this is the first time we're going just for 4 hours. So that's kind of different for us, but it's okay. You know, we take care of our, callers and like I said, it's an honor to have you on. I don't know if we still do have another caller in queue, or is it just Katie?
No. It's just me, and I can take it off air. That's absolutely fine. We can finish up the show and talk after the show. It's up to you.
Well, before we do that, we're gonna do this. Jody, can you tell them how to contact you so they can get the information down?
Sure. Yes, I am Joni White Buffalo. You can find me on Facebook. I go live every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do free live mini reads. If you cannot find me there, you can also email me, and I am at bimosay@hotmail.com. BIMOSAY@hotmail.com. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate and love you all. And just remember, love is the key. It is the most important thing here. And to give love unconditionally, receive it, and to be it. Okay? So thank you so much, Chris, for having me. Thank you to everybody that's here. I enjoyed it immensely. I had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time. And I hope that I helped in any way possible.
Yeah, and that will be it, guys. We'll be back Monday. And on behalf of the Global Enlightenment Radio Network and How to Work with Files, good night, everybody. Peace out. Love and light to everybody.